Culture Podcast with Alaska, Curly Castro, and Zilla Rocca.
Okay, here we are at another super uber excellent episode of Call Out Culture.
Brought to you by Noah's Arcade.
I'm here after I took my 80-minute Casey Kasem seminar, went to the Max where Slater beat
The Maxes?
Slater beat Zach once again. No, what was it was Max's and but you know what
It was 90210.
There it is. That's the pit.
Yeah, the
and
Peach Pit.
Give me right, but the pit was different world. Boom, bam.
Yeah.
Yo, I've been watching
that
a
Eagle
lot
Beagle
lately
and,
on Saturdays.
Three's
on
Company.
BT.
Eagle Beagle, yes. Where Larry got many a conquest. A lot of shag carpet.
Yep.
Love the
The
Eagle.
Regal Beagle with Larry,
Yeah,
right?
Zilla. Your
Yes.
parents like, yeah, when Larry and the
Nah.
Regal Beagle come on, you couldn't watch it. There was a
No,
bad
no,
influence.
never. No.
Two buttons down. Like,
Two
so
buttons
wait.
down.
Let me ask y'all real quick. Being young being young white men.
Correct.
Were your parents like John Ritter's like a gigolo with the living in the house with the girls?
Before
and
my
Larry
time, dog.
Fritz?
Before my time.
Okay,
My parents did not
Alaska.
explain a single thing to me about it.
But was
No.
I
was
had
he
no idea
considered
what was
like?
going on.
So nobody knew he was like nobody said he was like a gigolo or like a
They
bimbo.
might have known, but they didn't say
Swinger?
anything. My parents never talked to me about any of that stuff. The only talk I ever got was when I went to college. My dad
Mhm.
dropped me off and gave me a box of 20 condoms. It was like, don't bring anybody back pregnant.
There you go.
Those are
That's
the
all that
only
needs to
talk
be
I ever
said.
got.
What a stoic
Sad.
man.
Yeah.
But it's funny because Three's Company was pitched as like comedy so much, but it's
Yeah.
like
About
if
running
you were an
hoes?
adult, if you were like a teenager or college age when that was rolling,
But
he's
they
a
weren't
gigolo.
swingers. No, he
No,
wasn't a gigolo.
I
No,
never watched
he
this.
had a bunch of girlfriends though.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
had a bunch of
So did
girlfriends,
Jerry
but he never.
Seinfeld.
It wasn't like he had in-house girls.
No, but I'm just
Mm.
saying the combination of him living with the girls and then somebody like Larry,
Yeah,
that type of to me that gives off gigolo vibes. Like
they were
I
just
think-
pimping,
yeah.
man. They were just young single men in the '70s doing what young single men in the '70s did.
yeah, imitating themselves being gay so the landlord will leave them alone.
I thought
Yeah,
that was
that,
Bosom Buddies.
I mean, come on, that and bosom buddies.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
that was
so
amazing.
Zilla, this is all about
I remember
rent
Bosom
control.
Buddies. I remember
It's
that.
all about rent control. So these shows are about the rent is too crazy. So either A, we have to imitate women, bosom buddies, or B, I need to have two roommates, but they're both
Right.
girls, but our landlord is like, what's going on here? So I act gay when he's
Word.
around.
See, this is a way better use of time than just crying about landlords on Twitter. Do something.
Oh no!
Be
Like,
creative.
if you want to expose on an investigation
Write
of
a
landlordisms,
yeah.
Three's Company is it because Mr. Furley got a lot of run, and that was before the Ropers came around.
Were the
Word.
Oh, there's a
Ropers
lot of-
first, or was Mr. Furley first?
Ropers were first.
Okay,
And
and,
they
the
actually got
Ropers
it-
was Mr.
they got a
Roper was
spin-off.
just like Jack
Yes, he was
because
the
he was
one.
always
Yeah.
making fun of Jack because he
Yo,
thought
this
Jack
is like
was
some
gay.
Gen X shit. This is
But
not
they
my
got
world.
a spinoff. They actually had a show. I don't know. If
Yeah,
it
the
went
Ropers had a
past-
show.
I don't
and
know if it
then,
went past like 2 or
They
3
had
seasons.
Three's a Crowd, which
Which
came
was
later
the
when Jack Tripper got
restaurant.
married and had his
And he had
restaurant.
the restaurant. Yes, with
Yeah.
the
Damn.
yeah.
Good
This was
Gen
This is
spin-off
the
was
whole. This
successful.
is the whole Three's Company universe. Forget that.
Yo,
This
this
is-
is
this is-
the
this-
branches are deep, dog.
cinematic
branches are deep.
universe.
Don't even make me mention how many what was it? What's her name? Kelly, not Kelly. So, there was 2. What's her names?
What was
Two Chris's.
3. There was 3 Chris's.
Stan Summers.
Yeah. Suzanne Summers. Yeah.
So
Yo,
Man
what
Summers
was-
started, and there was
what
2 more
was-
Chris's after that.
what was the shared universe with the Sandy Duncan show? Was that
The
Family
Hogans.
Ties?
No, it
Hogans.
was the Hogans.
But what was the
Okay.
Hogans an offshoot of?
It was originally like Valerie.
Yeah.
But was she an all? Because that was Justine Bateman, right?
No, Justine
No,
Bateman was
Jason
Family Ties. It
Bateman.
was Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman. So then,
Yeah,
what,
but it was
But
Valerie.
Valley was the elk. She
I
was
think her name
brown
was
hair.
Valerie Garrett, maybe
Was
Valerie
she
Harper.
single?
Valerie Harper, but she was Rhoda.
But
She was
was
Rhoda
was
Mary
she
Olsen.
Tyler
playing
Moore's
like,
homegirl.
was she playing like some single or she was married?
No, she
Yeah.
was married, and then
Okay.
there was a contract dispute, and she
Yes.
left, and they killed her off and brought in Sandy Duncan.
Yeah, in a
There
fire.
it is.
She
Yeah,
died in a
there it is.
fire.
Yeah, tragic fire.
But wait, what was this an offshoot of? What were the Hogans?
Nothing.
an
It was
offshoot-
just it was this original show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You,
The
are you
Hogan-
confusing with Hogan Heroes and stuff like
Oh no,
that?
no. There was Valerie, then Valerie's family, and then it became the Hogan family.
Yeah,
So my era is the Hogan family with Sandy Duncan.
Yeah.
but you're.
That's my
I mean,
run.
I think the other show was only one season. They did like one season, so you're not
Yeah.
like
Okay,
coming
But see,
late
the
to the
thing is-
game.
But boom, like
because I was a Jason Bateman day one.
but
Yeah.
back in the
Oh, so
days,
for
one
It's Your
season.
Move? You talking It's Your Move, Jason Bateman?
No, that's too
Teen
early.
Wolf 2, Jason Bateman. I'm all in. I
But
bought
back then,
stock
if
early
the
with the
thing went
kid.
one season, even if it was a spinoff, they still got like 13 to 20 episodes off. So it would
Right.
trick you into thinking that the
Yeah.
show was on
Right.
for some years or something when it was just like a pilot.
Yes.
I go deep into the All in the Family tree to the Jeffersons, like for Maud.
That's what I'm saying. Like those,
that.
but those are the original. Those are the original.
Wasn't Benson? No, Benson was a spinoff of
That was
Soap.
Soap.
Right.
Yeah.
And Benson, did Benson have a? No. I was trying to think they had a spinoff.
No one under 40 knows what the fuck we're talking about.
Nah, but these are great. Like Maud.
Hey,
Oh man.
hey, TJIF.
Oh my god.
CGI.
Oh God! Oh, so is that Step by Step and
We've done a lot of Sasha Mitchell shouts on this show. A lot. At least
Was
7.
Webster
I can't
in
believe that he
TGIF?
was
Or
in that show
pre-TGIF?
as like I can't believe he was in the show like as a character and he stuck around.
No, Webster was a spinoff of
No,
what's his
Nothing.
name?
It was just Webster.
Webster was
Well,
just
then
Webster.
the dad was Alex. What's his name?
Alex
from
Harris.
Yeah, that's
wasn't he a
how I
spinoff of some show? or something?
Stephanopoulos
No.
was his name. He had but they didn't do
Yeah.
anything
There was no
past the
spinoff.
show. There was
Okay.
none of the characters bled into
I
anything.
just
You
remember
thinking
he had
like
the ill, like
Belvedere
he
and
had
all
like
that
the ill.
stuff.
What's the name? The dumb waiter, where he would ride
Yeah.
that shit, and I always wanted to
Yeah.
get a dumb waiter and ride.
And then Ben Vereen was his uncle.
Yep.
Yeah, shouts to
And,
Ben Vereen.
Yo,
And
but
he had
wait.
to call he had to call his mom ma'am, which was really
He said
weird.
he
That's
said
wild.
man. But what was up with Belvedere? Who was on the show with him?
Wesley,
Bob Euchre.
Bob Euchre.
Yeah, Bob
There it
Euchre.
is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yes, making
There
his
it
prime
is.
time debut.
Thank God Barry's here.
Yeah.
Shouts to
There
Barry.
it
That's
is.
our guest. You want to welcome him, Castro?
All right, we're gonna get to it in a second.
Yeah, after we
Now it
talk
seems like I want to talk about
ABC
Bob Euchre.
Cinematic Universe.
When I first heard about
I
Bob
was
Euchre,
being
I thought his
spoken to.
name. I thought it was made up because it was like a sports guy. That name's not real. And at first, I used to hear his voice a lot and not see his face. I was like, they made up this guy. He's not real.
because he was a
Bob Euchre.
sportscaster.
Yeah,
for the Brewers.
exactly. But the
Still
name
is.
Euchre, I was like, nah. He played, right? He played, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was
catcher.
a catcher.
My favorite joke he says from Major League, and he goes, "Unless he's got a rocket up his ass, that ball's out of here." It's a fucking overrun left field.
All right, let's do it. So again, Casey Kasem is my mentor, and I love him dearly. I'm Curly Castro. I only did the Casey Kasem because of the CC alliteration. Doesn't make much sense. And tonight we are the Call Out Culture Faithful. We are here with Zilla Rocca, Alaska, and our illustrious, lovely guest, Barry, aka FKA, BKA, Disco Vietnam.
What up? What up?
And tonight we are here to talk about one of the great releases in our current present hip hop landscape and we love so much.
The Wrecking Crew extended universe.
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry.
One of the now I'm going to start again.
Go ahead.
One of impressive, even if one of the creators is flaccid, releases this year.
Flaccid.
Vegas Vic.
Bang.
All right, double it down, 6-1.
Mm.
All right,
Take those odds.
because see, I'm just as crazy enough, and just when I'm getting out of jail, and you're waking up out of your coma, I'll come and bust your fucking head up again.
Hard to
You
kill.
better have my fucking money, you jerk off. Fucking jerk off.
Listen,
I
you
like
fat
that little scene better with the
Casino?
way he was like, you go behind me again, you Jew mother fuel. Like he was so mad at him in the I love that.
He's more terrifying than most slasher movies.
Yes.
Especially in that movie?
The tone when
Oh
he
my
said that when he
God.
had the Baker talk, he was like, you know what? Let me just tell you
Put
what
you
I'm
on a
about.
fucking vice grip.
You just and what he said for Johnny O, you let me pop your eye out for Johnny O, whatever that was. Like it was so unworth holding that guy's name.
Oh,
But anyway, we're here to talk about Vegas Vic. And as you can see, we talk about our favorite gambling and casino ne'er-do-well tales that maybe have influenced this record. We're going to find that out tonight.
We're gonna find out.
All right. So we have Barry, one of the executive producers here. We have Zilla, one of the sole creators here.
Yeah.
So we're just going to start with the generic.
Mm.
When y'all sat down to make the project, before we get into what y'all called it or with the art, what was the initial thrust? What was the initial power going into, all right, it's time for another Zilla Rocca project? What was your initial idea? Z? I mean, even the basic idea before I want to get into how we turn it into basic this, but what was the initial idea?
I think at the time it was because Shrapnel blew up. I think me and Small Pro were done the Career Crooks record, and then I was in some completion stage of Midnight Suns. I think Midnight Suns was just like waiting to drop. So I was just kind of sitting around and I was like, Shrapnel's crushing. I was like, me and Smalls are done. Me and Ray did the EP. Excuse me. Me and Chung, I was basically just waiting around doing nothing beside this show. You know what I mean? And then like guest appearances and beats and shit. And I think me and Alaska were done too. So everything was just done.
Okay.
And I was just like, yeah, everything was finished. So I was just sitting there like, what am I gonna do? And I knew Prem was doing a record. I knew you were doing a record. You know, Blue Edwards came out, crushed. Raheem's Lament came out. Like it was just kind of like a drag for me. I had nothing happening. And you know, like a man needs a project. So some men like to, you know, go restore a 1958 Chevy or, you know, rebuild their cabinets or some shit. And I was just like, what am I gonna do? Like, what am I gonna work on? And so I was like, all right, let me just make some songs. Let me make a record. And then and that was it. So it was just the idea was like, I just want to make something on my own. Because like I said, all those other records, like me, like I said, like me and Alaska were done, me and Smalls were done, me and Chong were done, me and Ray were done. So that was it. It was just like, well, I don't want to just do a podcast and do nothing else with my time.
All right. So then how do we get to this Vegas Vic vehicle?
Okay.
How do we get there?
So the original title for the record was Higher Gun.
Okay.
Because I was just like, I'm just gonna make a rap album, and I just thought that was a ill title for something. I had like written in my notes, you know, like phrases and shit. So I had that just as a name. So I started making it, whatever, and I forget. Barry might remember. At some point, I was just like, this name doesn't fit anymore. Like it was a cool working title to get the ball rolling, but it's not really
it was
a thing.
Didn't you have trepidations with the artwork?
Yeah, that's what it was, right?
Was that what it was, Barry?
Yeah, to me, that's what I remember it.
It was the
Like,
artwork.
you just couldn't think of. You were just like struggling with the artwork, and you considered the album kind of done.
Yes, and
That's
the
the main
artwork
thing.
was because the artwork was a fucking disaster. Try to get it together. Like we put out so many albums over the years, dude, and EPs and mixtapes and all that shit. And the artwork for this was like randos on IG taking my money and then dropping the ball, and then me having to file refunds, and then other dudes I liked, I was getting at them, ready to give them money, and they would just ghost me. And then other friends of ours that we work with a lot in the past for art, they were just jammed up or things were going on in their lives. And you know, and this is all like pre and then during COVID, so you can, you know, you have like a lot of compassion for people, what they have on their plate and what they can handle. And it was just, I remember saying, Castro, at one point, and maybe you were Barry, being like, I've never struggled this much in my life to get artwork for a seemingly basic idea, which was hired gun. And I had like all these pictures, you know, from like pulp and noir books and things I'd saved over years and different comic book covers I liked. Like one was like a Black Widow cover I thought would be a great piece, and there was a Wolverine cover I remember having.
Wasn't there like a Rod Carew baseball card or something?
No, well there was that was a Ty Cobb joint. Yeah, we ended up using that for the my remix record, Anything I Touch I Bruise Volume 3. Shouts to DJ Jazz Pants. But yeah, that was the original idea, then that didn't really pan out. I remember looking at that, I'm like, this can't be for the album. This is cool, but it can't be for the album. So it was like just it was forces larger than me being like this it shouldn't be this arduous of a task. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be this fucking annoying. So something's got to change. And I think that's kind of what steered it to where it ended up going on its own. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right, fair enough. And more preliminary stuff. So I hear there's a tale of a microphone, and then this is how Barry parachutes into the scene. Am I correct?
I'll let him take it away.
So Barry, tell the tale of the microphone.
The tale of the microphone. Well, Zilla hits me up because he is struggling with completing the record, Hired Gun. And he was just like, asked me for my honest opinion. And I've always felt like all of Zilla's projects are really well thought out and well considered. But sometimes I just had a little problem with where his voice sat in the mix. It just felt a little like behind a pane of glass or something for me. And he asked me my opinion, and I've spent a lot of time talking to my brother, who's an engineer now and a mixing engineer, and he's just taught me a lot about really caring about the final presentation of something, and how much that matters. And we wish it didn't, because that's what makes it so expensive, but it matters. It just does. And so I just said, hey, listen, man, like, your mic sucks. Borrow my mic.
Real story.
Yeah.
Boom.
My brother convinced me to get this mic right here. Shure SM7B.
Yes.
And I was like, listen, you live in Philly. I live on Long Island. Let's meet at this spot in East Brunswick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, right in the middle. Bring me a cheesesteak. I'll bring you my microphone. And we met in the parking lot of an abandoned Hooters.
I think it was an active Hooters, bro.
It was active.
Well,
I think
the
it's
days
active.
in,
Ladies
the
and
days
gentlemen,
in it was connected to
They're
was,
editing the
was
story.
definitely
It was
closed
active
down.
I love that.
Hooters.
An active
days
Hooters
in.
is like an active shooter.
Active Hooters and the days
Active
in was shut
Hooters
down.
drills.
Notice that. Notice that the Hooters was maintained, and the days in was like, oh, we don't need that.
It's a better detail if it's abandoned.
Nah, bro, because the dudes were pulling up.
I agree.
It's very early in the morning. It must have been like 8:45 in the morning.
So the
that we met.
morning rush of Hooters was y'all
Yeah.
back.
Well, yeah, 'cause, no, it was around 10 because I
Okay.
dropped my son off.
Hooters
At
is known
his-
for their French toast sticks.
I dropped my son off.
I think I left at 8:30.
Okay, yes. So I dropped my son off at pre-K, drove 6 blocks to Pat's, which is open 24/7, bought Barry his requested cheesesteak, put it on the floor of the
Horrible choice for a cheesesteak, by the way.
Well,
Continue.
He's from
Pro V Wit.
Pro V.
Oh Lord have mercy. Horrible
Right.
cheesesteak.
And then
I've been there twice in my life.
Thumbs down. Thumbs down, Charlie Murphy.
So I left at 8:30 with the cheesesteak rolling around the floor of the driver's seat, passenger seat, to meet him at 10ish. And this is like my first trip during COVID, like just to get the fuck out of my house by myself, which was fire. Yeah. So I remember on the way up, Castro, I think we had some Wrecking Crew beats at this point.
For the album?
No, I was writing something on that ride. I think it was me and Ray West. It was either me and Ray West or Sedale. But on the ride up, I was like writing to some beats, in my head.
Right.
So I was like, well, I'm going to use this time to be productive on the way up. On the way back, I just listened to I don't know, fucking power pop, whatever the hell I was listening to. Phantom Planet. Who knows what I was playing on the way back. But on the way up, I was trying to be productive. And then we exchanged the cheesesteak for the microphone.
Here we go.
Yes.
So, all right.
I'll let Barry finish the reason behind the microphone.
The reason behind the microphone. I wanted you to re-record all your vocals for every single song.
Correct. So we did.
And then I said I want Kenny, my brother, to mix it.
True.
And just give you like a different perspective. I mean, I really admire that all the work that you've done up to this point has been like very DIY. You've always mixed.
Oh, don't get it twisted. He done pulled off the mixing gloves years ago.
No, like this year. No, like this year was the year I pulled off the mixing glove.
Well, Zilla hasn't mixed anything of mine specifically in years.
No, I was only doing it for Dolo. Yeah, but the last thing I mixed was Cargo Colts. That was the last thing I mixed, and that was like September 2020. And then after that, I was like, okay, I'm not doing that again.
There's nothing against your mixes.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like
he's good at it. He just doesn't want the responsibility.
Enjoy it. Right.
Yeah,
right.
It wears him down.
Right.
And I don't want to hear it. I don't want to fucking hear it. So I'd rather let's just hire somebody else. So 2 birds with 1 stone. You ain't got to do it, and I ain't got to hear about it.
Right. Yeah. The truth of bringing me into any project is that if you bring me into a project, you bring my brother into it. Just because it doesn't work unless it's both of us.
There it is.
And that's Disco Vietnam. So shouts to Kenny Schwartz.
Shouts to Kenny.
At this point in my life, like, I'm happy to just get my brother work. you know.
Hell
So-
yeah.
That's what it's all about for me. He's the man. And we're just a great
y'all are-
team. We communicate well. And
Ladies and
we have
gentlemen,
like
if y'all aren't familiar, this is Barry Schwartz of Real Late Rosenberg fame. He has some placements on there. We'll be plugging that all night.
for sure.
But that was also and a good impetus as to why Zilla thought to bring in because there was a point where I knew you had more of the beats on the project, but it was also another level where Z wanted you to be an executive producer. Because me and Z had talked about it before he spoke to you about
Yeah,
it.
for sure. Like I actually took 2 of my beats off the record.
Correct.
Like Harm's Hotel was on there. Zilla put that out like a year and a half ago.
Yes.
And Atlas Obscura, which is on Steel's Kitchen, was on there too. And I was like, yeah, that's great. I don't know. Let's take them off. And let's add Yiddish Pimps with Prem Rock that we recorded before COVID.
Yes.
And that was an amazing experience. And like, there's a real energy to that record. And I was like, man, I really want to put it on this record just to give it like something at the back end, something fun.
Hell yeah.
Zilla,
some
when
attitude.
did it turn into that? When did the project make that turn where all my good songs, like Barry was mentioning how Yiddish Pimps made it on there, like when did it turn into, all right, all the good ideas are going to this project right now? Because with every creation, there is a point where, and this is for the ladies and gentlemen and our listeners, there's a point where you're working on multiple things, but then there's a certain point where everything good is going to go to one thing.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
even the best ideas, even if you're working on group projects, I've had this where the song comes out, no, I'm keeping this song.
It started, I think with like Wreck Havoc, the last song, that was the first song. Because I heard, what's his name from Griselda, Dr. Birds.
Nice.
Right before What Machine Gun Do. So when that song hit, I hit all of us, Prem, you, Smalls, and I was like, yo, we should do some shit like this. We should do a Dr. Birds type of record. And even if it's just a single, like we need to just drop it. So we did the song, and then there was some issues with like the files, or there was issues with like sequencing or something like that.
Yeah, there was big sequencing issues.
Yeah, there was issues we were having, and so time kept slipping by, and then the Griselda album hit. We kind of had that
working
song.
on that song. Smalls was working on that song.
Yeah, he was right.
He was the one mixing it. Yeah.
Yes. So then time was like moving on, and then the Griselda album hit, and then I was like, maybe we should keep this for something else then, rather than just put it out as a single. And so we just had that song like in the cut, and then I think I might have put it on Career Crooks or something like that. And then after a while, I was like, nah, this has to go on my album now. You know what I mean? Like, it was my idea to make this song. And I hit everybody up, like, is it cool if I put this on my record? And you guys were like, cool. And then Castro, you named it. You were like, oh, it'll be Wreck Havoc.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, bet. You put the K. There's been issues with the spelling on the different platforms, but it's Havoc, Havok from X-Force. Alex Summers, Cyclops' brother. So that's a shout to him. And then Wreck is us. So
that's how we spelling it. Yeah, that is.
Yeah. Wreck Havoc. That's what you said. So you were like, okay, but then there's other ways it's spelled. I don't know. There's been a lot of issues.
And there's also like Reek, Havoc. There's that double thing, and I think those are spelled the same, if I'm not mistaken.
Potentially,
because Reek is not like WREEK. That doesn't exist.
No,
so
WREK. Reek is that how you spell Reek? Like for Reek Havoc.
Like I think Wreck and Reek are the same spelling, but
like
wreaked
havoc. He wreaked havoc.
But reeked is dealing with olfactory and smell. So anyway, sorry, let's not go down there.
This is totally off the beat.
But all right, you know what? All right, since we're spiraling, let's take a quick break, and then we come back. I want to get into the Sonics with some of the sound choices on the record. All right, we'll be right back. Call Out Culture. Live from the liner notes, Vegas Vic.
We out here.
Yeah. Double down, boy. New album, Vegas Vic, from yours truly, Zilla Rocca. My first solo album since 96 Mentality. Out on Chung Wizard Records. Right now, available around the world. You can cop the digital on iTunes if you want. You can buy it for a G on Bandcamp if you're a real boss like that. However you want to get it, we got tapes, very limited, CDs also. Beautiful vinyl, all the artwork designed by PQ. Got everybody from Call Out Culture, Wrecking Crew in the mix. Album executive produced by Disco Vietnam. This joint is fly, energetic, fun. Roulette tables popping, free drinks all night with the cherry in there. Whatever you want to get, we're doubling down. We're going to get in the car. We're riding out to America's Playground. Vegas Vic, Zilla Rocca, new album, out now.
Yep. Wow. As Casey Kasem would say. Are you enjoying your blah? Well, let me bring a little side of shot with that. Ha ha. All right, we back.
That's way too slick for Casey Kasem. He was like,
I mean, yeah, there's a.
I'm
you know,
Casey Kasem,
it's
rounding
like
up
a
the
joke,
top
a
40.
setup. Yeah,
Now it's time for a long distance shablow.
Brenda
There's
from
too
Fort
much.
Washington, PA, gives us her kiss and hug to her boyfriend Maddie overseas. Now we're
Yeah,
gonna
see,
play
he used to read them. He wouldn't. Yeah, he
One
would just
Sweet
read the
Day,
comments.
Mariah
Yeah.
Carey and Boys
Yeah,
to Men.
It wasn't like he was playing like voice messages and stuff.
Chucky Thompson produced that.
Did he?
Oh, and speaking of Chucky, let's get to it.
Wow. He produced One Sweet Day.
Did.
He also did Dead Wrong from
Yep.
Big.
Speaking of Chucky
Oh,
Thompson,
wow.
we want to
Rest in peace,
Chucky. Rest in peace. Give our love and condolences to one of our great producers that we came
Easily.
up all on.
Oh
and
my
so
God.
he recently passed,
Yes.
and we want to send our
Damn.
prayers or whatever it is we sending our energy to that.
Oh,
As
rest
he
in peace,
transcended.
Chuck.
Yeah,
Damn.
and 50 years old which is becoming
53.
50 is a scary cutoff, man. Everybody was 50. All of these people that have recently passed have been 50 or 50 something, but a lot. And and I'm close to 50, and it's actually a little frightening. It's reminding me of 27 again. I don't want to be superstitious,
I will
but
say
you know what
this.
I'm saying?
Listen. I'm not judging anybody. I love all these people. I want them to live forever. However, some of these people that are past in their early 50s, not in the best physical shape. That's all I'm going to say.
No, agreed.
Which,
we can take
I wish
care
wasn't
of
the
our
case.
temples.
That's all I'm saying.
Definitely, but it's just interesting that the clock is striking midnight at 50, like your body's saying enough.
Yes.
And it's happening to our idols that happen to be in this lifestyle, because hip hop culture is a lifestyle.
Right.
We don't know people eating the 3 squares or if they
4
were
in the morning,
ripping and running.
It's no good.
Yeah.
Putting stress on
Living
your heart,
on the road.
your blood pressure. All right.
Mm-hmm.
How much physicals are you doing? Are you getting your blood work done? Or are you just ripping and running? Unfortunately, Gift of Gab, I think he just got too sick.
Right.
He got really sick. He got better. He went on the road. He got sick again. It was just a cycle after a while.
Yeah.
And not to make it's like to make a parallel. Like, so we were talking about NBA players and lower extremities. So once you hurt your knee, then you get a little ankle injuries and your thigh. Like all of those things start going because it's weakened. And if we're talking about weakened immune systems and you're ripping and running, we know the road is a rip and a run.
Right.
Late nights, not dressed properly, going from climate to climate, maybe in some instances, it might have took a toll.
No sort of physical activity, really.
Right. Standing still, rapping, but not like exercising.
But sitting in cars all day.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
You know,
right.
Get to where you're going to be. You're drinking.
Sitting, doing meet and greets.
Like shit.
Rest in peace. Chucky Thompson did the original One More Chance.
Yes.
Me and my bitch, Big Papa.
Yes.
And then Dead Wrong. He did Dead Wrong. Oh God. Rest in. And he did One Mic for Nas.
Yep. One mic.
Wow.
I was gonna say
Big
that one.
record.
Wow.
Big record.
And minimalist. Wasn't a lot going on with that beat. Just the right things were going on at the right times. Crescendo.
Has a
declination.
Yeah.
You know, and the declination. Come on, yo. And that's that song in Run on One, right? But he was like, no, it's okay. No, let's take it. You know?
Wow. God bless him.
But
God,
yeah,
man.
rest in peace. If anybody's not familiar, one of the original Hitmen, go check the credits. I know people have issues with Puffy, but like, look at the music. There's a lot there.
He did a lot with Faith Evans. I'm looking at his
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
A lot with Faith.
Oh yeah.
Damn, I was in love with Faith Evans, man. Oh my God.
So since we're talking about one of the Sonic Titans as he transcended,
yes,
let's get into the Sonics of Vegas Vic. So we got the executive producer here, my man Barry.
Yeah.
Zilla, was the amount of Barry beats, since he does the most of the production, was that forming the sound, or did you have an idea, or were you collecting songs? Give me the ABC of it. Like,
so I remember the only thing I sent out, I put the bat signal up at certain points saying like I want producers to send me 96 Ghostface beats. That was the only restriction or direction I put on people.
That was the call of the wild. That was what you put out.
So there was a lot of like, and I was trying to get work with people I never worked with before, because doing a lot of collabo records with one producer, which is great to have a vision and a team. I wanted to just kind of open the floodgates a bit. So that's how I got like Mute Speaker on this record, who I never worked with before. He just saw me post that. He sent me a pack. The pack was crazy. I picked out Wallaby Dreams from him,
Dope.
which was nice. So, Darko, he got on the record. But Barry, like our common language has always been Wu-Tang for the bulk of our friendship. Wu-Tang and the Beatles and tons of other cool shit that we share. So I didn't have to say that to him. You know what I mean? Like that's in his bloodstream. And he'll tell you he would die for you, God. And he will say that to you, God's face.
I would give my life for you, God.
Speaking of which, You God is in the new season of the You God character has now made his way to Wu-Tang Saga.
Nice.
So he will be in season 2. They got an actor to play him, and he looks like him and all that.
The You
stuff,
God chapters.
And the song Second Gen Wu, Wu Generation on Rosenberg's album, that's Intel, and that's You God's son.
Yep. So name for the people not familiar,
Stones.
It's Meth Son, You God's son, and Go Son in Second Generation Wu, or did I mix someone?
Son, Young Dirty Bastard.
Okay. But I was right. It is Meth Son, it's You God's son, and Go Son, one of his sons.
Yeah.
As that. Yeah.
But it's not Sun God.
No,
not Sun God.
It's not Sun God.
God's nasty.
And there's another guy on the record called Sick in the Head.
Ooh, that's
Nice.
a great early '90s rap name.
Yeah.
Sick in the Head.
You got to spell it. You got to spell it good too.
Yeah. So anyway, with the production, that was my call of the wild. And again, there was cats that sent me joints that are really ill dudes that I know and I just haven't worked with yet. That I had them, I liked them. It just didn't hit at the time. But all the ones Barry had sent me over the years, or was sending me on IG, or I just had on a playlist from way back when. Like, when sometimes like people send you shit and then 6 years go by and then you find that beat again, you're like, oh.
You hope the producer still has his.
You're like, yo, is this available? And most 99 times you're like, nah, I put that out on Bandcamp. Nah, such and such took it. Nah, it's on my beat tape. Nah,
right.
I used it to remix whatever. And that's happened a couple of times with Barry, but the bulk of the joints he was sending me, I would just text him. I'd be like, yo, what's up with this? He'd be like, it's available. I'm like, all right, here comes a song tomorrow. Boom. I'll make something quick to it. Whereas the other beats, it was a little more long-winded of a process. And again, the people that sent me joints, I just didn't click. It wasn't, no ill will. It just didn't happen. But maybe like in 3 years, I'll go back to one of those beats from whoever and be like, oh shit, this is crazy. You know what I mean?
Side note, from farm to table, how long did it take for y'all to craft this thing?
I looked at my notes. So if the first official song was like Wreck Havoc, I mean, that wasn't even made for the album. I think it was like December 9th, 2019 is when I wrote something specifically for this, like an album. You know what I mean? So like Wreck Havoc was just a song we made and then ended up on the album. But I think like December 19-ish is when I was like, oh, I'll just make some joints. And then even like through the beginning of COVID was like making joints. So then I guess we finished up like February of this year, January, February, something like that. Because we were getting the mixes in March. Mixes and masters were March this year.
Yeah, actually the folder is March 18th.
So March 18th. So basically a year since COVID officially. Okay. That's when we got the finals, which is nuts. But yeah, that's so probably like a year and 3 months, 3 and 4 months.
Right.
For the whole
Were
time.
any of these beats a departure for your normal aesthetic?
You talking about me or Barry?
Both.
I don't know, man. To me, they all made sense. I don't think they're a departure at all. I think they're more in line with what we've been doing. You know what I mean? Like the last couple of years, like having records that are really straightforward and follow a certain path, and then also having a couple left turns here and there. So like the Darko joint, which became the title song, that to me was like, I mean, I had to have it, but I don't think people like our fans now that have only been around like the last 2-3 years or so, or maybe even the last year, I don't think they know the history of me having beats like that. You know what I mean? Like that's like dudes now like aren't making songs on that type of shit. You know what I mean? Whereas you know me, I pick beats like that in the past. You know what I mean? Like just real melodic, stripped down shit, having fun with it.
Right.
For Barry, I don't know. I think Barry's been on such a roll. I mean, he could speak on his production style and where he's evolved to. But
Barry, what was your approach for making beats for this record, or having what type of beats did you have for him to select? Because I'm understanding he picked some beforehand, after, and then during. So
it's not even. It's everybody needs like one person that they feel comfortable just sending their beats to, no matter what.
dope.
Like when you're making it, you're like, and you're done. You're like, all right, I'll just send this to Zilla. Maybe he'll like it. Maybe he won't. I don't really give a shit. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna make another one tomorrow and another one the day after that. Like I just make them every day, and whatever lands for Zilla, I mean, it's completely arbitrary for me. I have no idea which of these beats is gonna get picked by anybody. I have no control over that at all, so I stopped thinking about it. When I think about it too much, I start freaking out a little bit. Like I thought about how like I got, these cool records with, Flea Lord and Rock Marcy and Ghostface. Somebody could have picked those beats at any point. And then when Rosenberg comes calling, like I don't have those beats anymore. Maybe I sold them for 25 beans. I don't like thinking about the sliding doors. I just have to just keep.
Yeah, it is. Can't live life on sliding doors. I feel you.
Yeah,
but
I just
listeners,
have to keep banging away.
Y'all heard his discipline. He makes a beat a day. He's gonna make another one.
And then this fucking maniac deletes some of these joints. He'll be like, I trashed it.
Yeah.
The man has a process.
Yeah,
it's freedom, man. You gotta have the freedom to do that.
Yeah, every man has a code. I hate that deletion shit, but I got over it.
Dude, no, and this is real because he texted me before worrying about this. He's like, yo, what if I would have gave the Marcy beat to some dipshit who DM'd me for $80 and then Marcy wouldn't have this and wouldn't have that? I'm like, who thinks about this? Like, who cares?
Ashton Kutcher and Butterfly Effect. Is that what you want to be, Barry?
No, it's like the Twisties. It's like the Yips. I just got the Yips for a couple of days.
No doubt.
Jesus Christ.
Like shit.
But salute to you, Barry. The sonic contributions definitely fit my man. It was really a good profile in the pocket for him to.
What's your favorite beat, Castro? What's your favorite beat on this album? It doesn't need to be a Barry beat. Don't gas this motherfucker.
No, I haven't.
You got Ghostface and Jim Jones this year.
I haven't thought about it, but I think I like. It's an interesting question. I'm gonna slide out from answering it because I really like listening to $5 God when I want to listen to Vegas.
Hey yo, my mother said stay away from rap, it's too dangerous. Go to school and put some money in your savings. But I was thrill seeking little Dick Grayson, shoplifting silk boxer shorts and big razors. Small time crooks who nibble on the edges. My man who did the most dirt, his father was a reverend. We were so young, we'll hit tomorrow in a second. I throw heat like Brandon Marr, now you just catch it. Used to drown my sorrows by the bottle, live the crowds from the liquor store. My man 35 eating cheesesteaks, Trimboli's mozzarella, and yo, he taking Lipitor. Why, the South Philly diet gonna kill us all. What, donuts is federal, cold cut cholesterol. Never had one raw vegetable. So when the soda tax came like a wrecking ball, man, we clinging to the things that's gonna dead us all. Less is more, always do more and say less. Less is more, always do more.
So I just like setting it off with the first track. So a testament to y'all for the sequence, how it works, you know what I'm saying? Even though that might not be anybody's particular beat. So I like $5 God a lot because I like how it sets the table. And I guess Merv Griffin Enterprises might be. It's a big might. So
I'll take it.
Velasco, what's your favorite beat?
Either Vegas Vic or Vetiver.
Vetiver,
yeah. Vetiver is a sleeper joint, man.
Yeah.
I
don't think people think of Darko as a producer enough. I don't know if Darko thinks of himself as a producer enough, but
he does things, but then he also does like things that are scattered in terms of him getting credit on this. Right. He's called Doc Heller. Right. So I think it just taking people a while to put two and three together, but a little bit more candy.
I like that. Make it mysterious.
Well,
people.
He did say, I think he's not going to use that alias anymore. So this might be the last.
For the record,
the first and last.
For the record, that's my favorite beat on the record.
Look at you.
And I told him so. I told him
did.
so.
Yeah, he really killed that beat.
Yeah, that beat is he
And
sent me a couple other joints. He sent me a pack, and there was another one that reminded me like the Breeders or some shit. It was crazy. But it was like too distorted and it fucked up. And I was like, yo, can you send me the stems or can you tweak it? And he was like, yeah, I lost all the files for that. I was like, all right.
yeah, scrap that. Don't
I
go
was
down
like,
that.
what about this other
don't,
joint?
Don't go down that black hole.
Yeah, and
So
all
Zilla,
I told him
what's
was I
your
was like,
favorite
yo,
beat? You putting us on a fucking blast.
It's tied between Merv Griffin and Vegas Vic. Those are my two favorites. Because
Right, I wanna-
Merv Griffin is, to me, like that is the Ghostface energy I wanted. Like that, everything about
Daytona
that song.
500.
Yes, like that is it's Daytona meets like Iron Maiden off Iron Man, like the opening joint. Like that song, and having you guys on it, and everyone's just like super hyped up. There's like a little break, like a little hook in between.
Hey yo, I'm haphazard in the limelight, so now I play the back and like to dabble in the hindsight. Read a David Attenborough, dad by killing them. Bump and keep it thorough with my last bottle of Killian's. NBA Jam, Jamal and Larry on some Hornet shit. Hey yo, I look like an out of shape Jeff Hornacek. Hit up the bodega for beef patty and cocoa bread, then lay up in the bed watching Over the Edge. I know I seem aloof, like dude, don't give half a fuck. I'm not above, I'm beyond, I'm ill Bill Havachuk. Everybody's full of shit, moral situational. I drop these uncomfortable truths. That's what the greats should do. Not some pseudo revolution tooling in the Subaru. Talking about you fuck a rap, but only bump a Zuka tooth.
Oh, Jeff Weiss texted me at 1 a.m. about that song, about my verse.
What did he say?
Not.
He didn't say shit to me about this album.
He
man.
didn't say shit to me
texted
either,
me
although I
at-
owe him a phone call.
He texted me at 1 a.m. and I know because I always think of like West Coast time. So I was like, what time is it over there? And
Right.
I was like, sleep. So I didn't respond till like 5 a.m. this our time. So it was all let me see.
He literally hasn't said
I'll tell
one
you.
fucking word to me about this album.
Oh my
Pastor,
God,
what was
your
your-
verse on Merv Griffin Enterprises, leaving the mic in body bags, 1:03 a.m. Thank you, Jeff Weiss.
What was your line about the Lester Freeman of Boba Fett's?
Oh, so it's not Lester Freeman. Thank you, Alaska.
I picked it up today. I was like, oh shit.
Thank you. So it's
know
funny
before
because
that.
the punchlines the joke is before the punchline before the joke. So I'm the Lester Earl of Boba Fett's bounty going up.
Wait, who's
The
Lester
bout-
Earl?
He's a less legendary like street basketball player that didn't make it
Okay.
all the way. He could jump his ass off. He had like a over 45-inch vertical.
Don
Zilla, you
Cheadle.
remember Lester Earl?
That was Earl Manigault.
That was Earl Manigault. Zilla, do you remember Lester Earl at all?
Nah.
Real like flash in the pan. You can look him up right now. But he had a super ridiculous vertical. So
Did he play for Villanova?
Did he play in college? He might have
Oh, no,
went
the
somewhere.
picture
for a
I'm
year or
seeing
so.
of him has a Villanova shirt on.
No. I don't think he.
Okay.
I don't. LSU maybe, but it didn't last.
Yeah,
long.
you're right,
Like
LSU.
one of those. Yeah,
Look at
it
you.
didn't last long.
That's good Lester Earl knowledge.
And so the bounty going up. Lester Earl of Boba Fett's bounty up jumper. You can leap.
sure.
Y'all.
I love it.
Does that click for anybody?
No, but I love it.
Anyway, that was my favorite because I just wanted somebody to ask me about Lester Earl. So thank you.
Look at this. It's crystallized. It all came to pass. Yeah, shouts to Jeff Weiss. Maybe he'll listen to my album and talk to me about it someday. That'd be cool. one of my good friends. Great stand-up guy, Jeff. Love you.
Are you finished with are we finished with the saltines part?
Nah,
of the show?
Jeff's been like in the backwoods of
Yeah,
he's writing out that Britney
He's
Spears.
writing a
album.
novel. He's in the
He's writing a
mountains
novel.
writing a
It's
novel.
true.
man.
It's true.
That's my
He's
man.
literally in the mountains writing a novel.
He
Y'all
is.
sitting there like,
Exactly. You ain't listening to no East Coast rap.
you know what I'm saying? But no, he did take that time to text me
That's dope.
that message. So
Cool. That's fine.
all right. Let's take another break and we coming back. Alaska, we getting into the bars.
Bars.
All
We're
right.
getting into some
Bars.
bars. This is where
Love the
Alaska shines.
bars.
I don't memorize bars. I'll just ask about full songs. But we'll be back. Call Out Culture
Yeah.
here with Barry the Great, otherwise known as Disco Vietnam.
Vietnam.
I gave you a shout out
it's
in the song,
Disco Vietnam.
but I don't remember where it's at exactly, Barry. I say something like that's a Disco Vietnam something. I don't know where it's at though. I'll find it though.
I'm honored.
Viet
I'm honored just to hear
fucking
about it.
I'll find it. All right, we'll be back.
Viet fucking Nam. What is that?
The war in Viet fucking fucking damn.
Yo, peace, people. It's Prem Rock. Just wanted to hop on and tell you about my new album, Load Bearing Crow's Feet. Out now, everywhere on Backwoods Studios. Shouts to the Wrecking Crew, shouts to Call Out Culture. Shouts to Willie Green, shouts to Billy Woods at Backwoods Studios. Shouts to Shrapnel. Shouts to Brain Orchestra, Denmark Vesey, Messiah Music, Small Professor, Fresh Kills, Willie Green, myself, everyone that handled the beats, everyone that delivered the rhymes. AJ Swade, Henry Canyons, Castro, Zilla, yeah. Fielded and elusive. And Marcus Pinn on the cuts. Dr. Quandary on the art. Pick it up wherever you pick up music. Thank you. Peace. The shortest story ever fraught with blues and no less true.
How did you guys pick your band name? Where did it come from?
Okay, have you ever seen the movie Starsky and Hutch with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson?
Of course.
Okay, so you know the scene where Ben Stiller and Harmar Superstar are having a dance off?
Yes.
So Patton Oswalt is doing like play-by-play of the dance off.
Okay.
And at one point he just, oh my God, this is disco warfare. This is Disco Vietnam. And I look at my brother and my brother looks at me and Disco Vietnam was born.
Whoa.
This is 2005.
This is Disco Warfare. This is Disco
Amazing.
Vietnam. Oh, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
I should get that and make that my drop.
Yo, you have to. Dude, Griff.
I haven't even thought to do that
Dude,
until
Griff
this
shit.
moment.
I was watching TV randomly and I caught Griff's drop. It's from fucking Back to the Future 2 when Marty
Oh,
walks
nice.
into the future cafe.
Yeah, for sure.
And instead of Biff, it's Griff. The grandson
He's
of
Griff?
Biff. He goes, he's Griff. Yes. And Griff has been using that for 15 fucking years at his beat
That's
drops.
awesome.
And I
What does
caught
it say?
one day.
What does she say?
In Back to the Future 2, when Marty McFly goes to the future cafe, like the retro future cafe in 2020, whatever it is, 2021, 2015.
Oh, wait. Okay. I found it. It's on Fireside Chats, I think.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, the line you say?
Rockin'
On-
double backwards hoodie like I'm Martin of the Remy t-shirt can puller. Oh, rockin' black. Oh, it's Never Iscariot.
Never Iscariot. Yep, of Griff.
And I say thanks Spike. He told the story. Drink champs here with Nori. Got some skunk and white owls. Meth lent me shorty. That's a line for Vietnam. Disco God beats caviar. There it is.
There it is. Bomb.
I would have caught that.
I don't know because I can't even. I'm kind of spazzing on the track, so I'm doing a weird flow. But yeah, so it's on Jason Griff project. So if you want to, you can use it as a drop, whatever you need.
That's a salute. That's a tip of the cap.
There you go. My hat's
61
backwards.
with the asterisk.
Disco War.
No asterisk.
Disco Vietnam. I love it. You know, the kid who works for me is like 27. I always tweet about him as like the young millennial. He was like, his one friend said to him, he's like, yeah, I still think the best comedy I've ever seen is Starsky and Hutch. I'm like, who fucking, what 26 or 7-year-old is like
Starsky and Hutch?
Yeah, I never thought about that movie. And
oh, wait, the Ben Stiller one?
Owen Wilson joint.
Oh,
with
God, I'm
Vince
thinking
Vaughn.
of the show. Yeah.
Jason Bateman's in that shit too. He's
It's
this
a good-
slimy accountant.
They did okay. Like I like when Ben
Snoop.
Stiller's not doing too out there, but he's like sticking to like a character that he's made.
Yeah.
I like that. Like that works for me.
It's
So
just
I
something
kinda-
it was just something about those two words next to each other. It's just that I don't know, it just sparks something. And now it's like what I name everything I do no matter what I do. Like
Starsky and Hutch?
if I write a book, it's gonna
Disco
be by
Vietnam.
Disco Vietnam. Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were still talking Starsky and Hutch.
I just love you.
Can you
and
believe they
Kenny.
came up with that in a damn boardroom? They were all sitting on a table. What do you want to name this show? Starsky. Starsky. That's not good enough. We need something else. What
So wait.
about Hutch, boss?
So wait, did all the rap names like Love Bug, Starsky? Is it because of that? Like all the 80s names?
Ski,
70s, 80s?
no.
is Coke, right?
Yeah, ski is pretty much Coke, like ski slopes.
So
but if
then
you
they kind
a
of
lot
broke
of
down
people-
Star Ski,
Yeah, but a lot of people would use ski as a suffix.
right?
Starsky, Scar, whatever, Starsky.
So
So
there's
you just
ski,
put it at
right.
the end of your name just to make it hip hop. So even if you weren't coked out, your name dash ski, like just to
Right. But I'm saying, like, did they get it from the
Cool.
show specifically? That's my question.
No, black people didn't watch Starsky. Huh? We didn't watch that shit.
We don't
Fuck that. No. They let us look. Dukes of Hazzard fooled us once. Starsky and Hutch was like fooled us twice. Because we used to like Dukes of Hazzard. One day I was like, asking my friends, like, you see that Confederate flag? And we stopped fucking with
prominent.
that
It's very
shit.
prominent with Duke and them.
It is. When they
yeah.
make the jumps, the car always kind of veers sideways. Always like some sideways jump over the hay. Just to get a full.
Yo, that show is like straight up marketing for like Southern culture. The flag. It's about the South. It's
And
not
that
about
car.
They were
I had
running
that car that
moonshine in like 1976. There was no need to run moonshine in 1976.
Oh,
they were
always,
moonshine runners.
Jonathan
they
Kent in
always
Smallville.
Were they always getting involved with some town's thing like 18? That's how they would get down, right? They would help out.
They would help
Or
out,
they-
but they were criminals running basically
On the
running
run, right,
illegal
yeah.
booze.
Yeah.
illegal
yeah.
booze. Like you can't just go to fucking. That's insane.
Yeah.
That doesn't
And
make
wait,
sense.
were they getting choiced by Boss Hogg, or is that?
Yeah,
that's
Boss
right?
Hogg and Roscoe Pico Train.
This is
Wow.
And then Cletus was in it as well. There's a dude named Cletus, who I think was like the mechanic.
Man, the only thing I remember mainly was Confederate flag, of course, and hey, there's no doors on the car.
Yeah.
Mm.
So he has to jump across the hood. I mean, that was the cool. You couldn't fuck around. That was some cool shit. Jumping across the hood, no doors. But why wouldn't they just get doors? Like after a couple of chases, when they having trouble, like, yo, we should put some doors on this shit just to make it a little easier. But anyway, Knight Rider was like, look, I'm the ultimate car, so it wasn't too long for me, and especially the Knight Rider augmented when they brought the black guy.
Wasn't there a show where there was like a man that turned into a car?
There was
That's
a cartoon.
The ultimate car.
There was a live action show. There was a live action and it was the cartoon.
But there was the old school, like my mother, the car, like in the 50s or something.
We talking about like that. Bugsy,
But the mother was
like,
reincarnated as a car.
Okay.
Turbo Teen was the dude that would turn into a car.
Right. And
And
then
then
what am
Auto
I
Man was the TV show.
who turned it? And he was like that blue neon car person.
The Auto Man, right?
Yeah. And then what else? What else is the living car?
I remember Turbo Teen.
Bugsy,
Okay, I remember this
Bug,
one now. The
Beetle.
red
What's
joke.
that?
Oh, Herbie the Love Bug.
Herbie, there he is.
Yeah, number 5.
Bringing
or
it back to
some shit.
Love Bug Starsky.
There it is. We're circular with
see,
this.
No, this is all white shit.
And then, of course, Christine.
Yeah, which is
the
the
car.
greatest car ever.
Yeah.
This is a heavy like 1970s chatting time.
No,
somehow.
Christine has one major plot flaw. Plot hole. The fat kid running up the alley. Because you could have just ran up over the car. Unless Christine opened up a hood and snatched them like a mouse, like they live, like you had options on me. Like they really just put fat people out there. Like a fat person in a chase has no chance, has no ingenuity, can't get away for no reason from a car squeezing itself into an alley they can't fit.
Oh my god.
Come on, man. You gotta do better.
All I gotta say is Keith Gordon should have been a much bigger star.
And the way the car chased him into the alley, if y'all remember, he was like running in the street, could have went a million places. The car was just like,
oh shit.
What?
Yo, the dude that was like the kid from Christine and also the Rodney Dangerfield's son in Back to School.
Oh,
yes.
He directs mad episodes of Fargo.
Oh wow.
Sure. All right.
Stay in the game, man.
Back to
Got one foot in.
Wow.
Stay in the game.
It's like those Van Patten kids.
I think something like that. Is there something like that with Chunk in Goonies? Is he behind the camera now?
He might be. He might be doing some shit.
I think I might have heard that.
I always
And
forget.
Fred
Down-
Savage is heavy in the behind the curtains.
Zach Braff is killing it.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yo, I
He was
like
young
that.
as hell.
I like that. Robert Downey Jr.'s character in Back to School. His name is Derek Lutz.
Oh, I love the Lutz. There was always a Lutz. I
Derek
love the
Lutz, played by Downey
Love the
Jr.
Lutz. It's
in
so funny when you
86.
see them young playing.
Yo, I would
because
love-
remember
if
back
you-
in the day, you could be a 30-year-old playing high school.
Of course, if
So,
you
like-
saw Downey, it'd be funny. Like, yo, loved you in Back to School. Like, you don't say
Yo,
shit
but
about Marvel.
he was also in Weird Science.
Yeah,
He's a
one
brother?
of them
Oh, he's
fucking-
in Weird
and then Johnny
Science.
B. Good.
Oh, he
was
wanted
in
a
Johnny
book,
B.
but,
Good with him and
Yeah,
Uma.
he dumps the slush on Wyatt and Gary.
Love
Mall.
Weird Science. I love Weird Science.
Didn't they make
And
that a
I-
show too?
Yeah,
They
They
did.
tried. They
Yeah.
tried. What I loved was it was about that girl and stuff, but it stayed below the line of being too like sexual. It wasn't really all about that. Like I remember them kind of being friends with the girl. We were horny
Everyone else
teenagers.
was. I feel like everyone else. It was about the sex.
But I think like when you really got into the story of the outcast kids, it didn't stay like to me, whatchamacallit is about sex.
It was
Oh man,
it was a journey of self-discovery, so
what's the
yo,
movie where they were looking through the shower? The
Porky's.
Porky's.
Yes. Now that's about
Okay,
sex.
wait. So
Yeah.
when they did the Weird Science show, the girl who played the chick was the girlfriend from fucking Kingpin.
Hell yeah.
They got
Okay.
her to be the main female.
So
I
I
can't
don't know if we
remember
got
that
any
one.
Friday the 13th heads here, but
No.
I
one
don't
of
know the
girls from
details.
Weird
I've
Science
watched all of
was
Kelly
the
LeBron.
girl that was killed in the inner tube in Friday the 13th part
You
4.
you're
Wait, the inner tube of the sleeping bag.
Not the like the inflatable boat. She goes out to the water and Jason jumps up and stabs her through the
Oh,
my
yes.
god.
yeah.
Yes.
And she actually caught hypothermia filming the scene.
Is
Yeah,
that
that's right. I've
is
watched
that
the
a 3?
6-hour documentary on Friday
Is that
the
the
13th.
Jason 3D with the harpoon that comes to the camera? Is that one?
No,
too?
that's part 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember
Fucking
that.
amazing. All right, let's
This is
talk
the one
about
where
this
Tommy
album.
Jarvis, Corey Feldman kills Jason. Spoiler alert.
And which one? Corey Feldman gets to kill him, Jason. Which one? On 3?
Corey Feldman killed Jason in part 4. He put the machete in the side of his head. And
Oh,
then
that's-
he
had to
lands on the
negotiate
machete
that.
and his head slides down the machete and
Ooh.
it cuts deeper in. It's the best
He
kill
had
I've
to
ever seen.
negotiate that. Corey Feldman, one time, the man once on top.
I don't like
Pre-Goonies.
horror movies.
You don't like them? You know what
I
I'm saying?
don't like them.
He likes the Muppets and shit.
I like them.
I saw a Poltergeist when I was 5 in the theater.
I saw Jaws when I was like 5.
What the fuck?
In the theater,
Yeah,
I
I know.
was terrorized. Terrorized.
Spent like the
yo.
whole year thinking I had a bunk bed.
Watching
Every
Follow
time they
That
turn off the
Bird.
lights, I was like, my room filled up with water,
Oh
and
my
Jaws was gonna
God.
jump up and get me. I didn't think he would get my brother on the bottom half of the bunk bed. He was just
Zilla-
coming for me.
Zilla's right. I do like the Muppets. and shit.
You're a big Muppet guy. You're a big Muppets guy. All right,
You
let's
know
talk about
me.
rap.
You know me
Let's
too
talk about
well.
our shit. I do. Let's do it. All right, let's talk bars.
Wait,
All
none
right,
of
so wait,
those?
I got questions for you because this is like a real hook heavy record. Like some of these
Yes.
songs have like 3 hooks on them.
Correct.
Talk to me about your evolution as a hook writer.
Boom.
My evolution.
Everything's a hook.
Everything is a hook.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we did 96, back then my writing time was very limited. My son was much younger, so I was trying to make kind of like one verse songs with hooks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because what's the name has that one song? Bronson has that song. It's called Chop 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 on Blue Chip 7000. It's the best Derringer beat ever, and it's a long joint, and it's just him doing a hook. He kind of like fucks around and kind of raps a little bit, and then it's just the hook, and then it's just the beat. And I played that song, and I'm like, this is crazy. He's barely even rapping on this shit, but it's something you want to keep going back to. So when we did like what's the shit, East Bay Catalog for me and Barry off that album, 2000 Maxima, East Bay Catalog, 22 outfits and a mic check, Mazel Tov.
Bro.
So I did that joint. That's like one verse, but it's a bunch of hooks. And then like Win Duffy with the Expert, off that record, same thing. It's just one long verse and then a whole outro hook. And so I think, we've all hit that phase of like, we're not really going to be writing 3 verse songs anymore. But
Yeah.
I feel like people were just not talented because they're getting by doing 2 verses and really nothing memorable. And then naming the song like fucking Cocaine Capoeira on the steps of the Louvre. I'm like, your song ain't about shit. Like, your song is about nothing. And that's cool once in a while to have a song like that on a record where you're just snapping and you just name it whatever. But I was just, after diving through that much rap in the last 3-4 years, it just got played out to me. It's just wild, formulaic, and stupid. And I was just like, there needs to be something memorable when I make this shit. You know what I mean? Because I want to perform these songs. And I'm not interested in performing songs where I just stand there and try to be like, oh, be awed by these crazy bars. Like, you guys all know when you're doing shows, like, motherfuckers they're not dying to like
No.
dissect your lyrics live. They
No.
want to have a good time and catch what's going, because the sound may be shitty, your mic, your voice, like there's so many variables. But when you do those hooks live and you can kind of rock with it, then people catch that part, and then they may catch like one or two lines they like at the show. You know what I mean? So when we just did this parts of this album live at the Prem show a couple weeks ago, that was like, you know, me trying these joints out, and it was cool to do. You know what I mean? But to really go back to what you were saying, Alaska, it's like I've always wanted. I always love hooks. I've never been a type who just couldn't come up with hooks, and you know, I try to make them as simple as possible. And then if I can't think of one, then I'll go to like Castro doing the hook on Knife Behind the Smile with Shells, rest in peace. I came to him and was like, I want you to do like a 60-second assassin hook, like from what's the shit I told you from Supreme? Stay true. The streets is rough out here. The crack game came and had it. Yeah. What is a man to do? Stay true. Stay. Because I remember I kept playing that song. I'm like, that song's 90 seconds, you know, and then like it's so memorable, but it's like this long. So I remember saying to Castro, I was like, yo, hook something up. And he's like, oh, I'll do something. He's like, you know, he's like, so my record crew, them never gonna die. Why? All the rappers that we know, see them careers run through them through. Talk to them. Oh my record crew, them never gonna die. Why? All the rappers that we know, see them careers run through them through. And so he just kind of flipped it on his shit to be really, really memorable. You know, to do it like that. So, you know, like I gave him that beat. I was like, this beat's crazy. I was like, I don't know what to do with this. I want you to shape it and I'll build a song. So he just sent it back to me. All night long, I'm sleeping good night rest. All night long. So he came up with that. And then I kind of made it around that shit. And I say, I'm having Wallaby Dreams. Because he says Wallaby Dreams in his rhyme. So the song wasn't even called that. So I just kind of like did some surgery on that shit. Merv Griffin is just kind of like some rhyme and shit, you know. Vegas Vic to me, that was like a Cameron joint, you know what I mean? It felt like a Cam song where he would just like, he would have like a lot, like Cam has a lot of space in his songs, whether it's Dipset or his shit. Like Cam does not overload you with bars, like he gives it a lot of room. So then when he says some shit, like even on like Dipset, you know, Zenith's fiending, I really mean it. Guns I'm squeezing, gonna theme and leaning on your Dina. I really mean it. You know what I mean? Like he just was like that what's he say? Is like that means you very slow. Glide from the Maury show. Like his everything he does is like a hook. You know what I mean? The way Cam rhymes. Yeah. So it was like trying to hit those spots and make it stand out, because in an era when people just want to hear 2-bar grimy loops with no drums and just dudes talking about, you know, fucking drugs or whatever they rap about, like I was like, well, like it's like Yiddish Pimp's the only one like which is no hook, you know what I mean? Like because me and Prem just had fun that day, but everything else
bounce it back and forth through the whole thing.
When you go back and forth, you don't really need to do hooks,
right?
It's already dynamic.
Yeah. Exactly. So even like Castro doing the one on Wreck Havoc, like that was all him, you know, doing the J Tread shit and just flipping that and having fun with it. And like Favors Are Bad News, like just to me, it's like it has to do it. I don't know. I'm just a fan of my favorite songs have hooks. I don't know why it's just always been like that. Like I'm not the guy that's like, I want to hear the dude go off 64 bars. That's my favorite song on the record. I love that, but that's not my shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to talk. Oh, go ahead. Keep going.
No, I was just going to say there's a lot of songs about like girls on this record too. Like too. There's a lot, man. There's a lot of little like things in there, like your exes follow your other exes on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Like just like weird little like old girlfriend grievances in there. Yeah. Maybe I'm like conflating that with some other shit too, like on the joint that we did for Ray. But there seems to be like some accounting that's going on here.
So let me piggyback off that. So I wanted to talk about that. So I want to talk about the Russian doll nature of the record, in the sense that you called it Vegas Vic. Mm-hmm. There are some gambling kind of tropes and ephemera, but that's not necessarily what the lyrics are about. So how are you able to get off like this Hydra head, like double helix, meaning like, you know, the imagery and aesthetics are leading you to think one thing, the lyrics are another. Like tie that together.
I think it was. I mean, to answer Alaska's point, your point, bro, it's like I was just making shit. You know what I mean? I wasn't really being conscious about anything. So anything I was saying about exes, these are just like random thoughts I'll just have, you know what I mean? Like, and as you know, and the way when I write and I'm just having fun with it and driving or just like doing something with my son and like a line will hit me in my brain and I'm like, oh, I got to use this for something. Like Vamoose, you know, same thing, like that hook, like you want to cut someone off, just start a family. Like I remember just thinking that one day. I'm like, man, all the problems I had with cats over the years, it didn't have to be theatrics and meltdowns and sit downs and fucking threats. And when I see you or blocking people, like that would have all been resolved if I just got married younger. Like them dudes would have been gone. You know what I mean?
I know what Castro's saying though. Like there is no, it's not really a concept to the record, but that's a testament to why it's so important to have great artwork. Like people think that there's this like through line for all the songs, but really it's just well sequenced and the artwork is awesome.
Fuck yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it ties all together, but it's like,
right.
But truth be told, you're not, you don't have no songs about like late night at the Bellagio. Like that's not really what's going on.
Right.
No.
Or you in the number hole and shooting your way out. That's not really what's
I'll say this, there's a lot of references to money. There's a lot of money
there
talk.
it is. So is there like, is that the overarching thing? If there was one per se, like
yeah, because it's just man, it's
double down or leave or
no, you know what it is? It's like we in our genre, the lane of rap we do, you know, we might have said this on the show before, like talking about money has never really been acceptable. You know what I mean? Or
not in the practical sense.
Yeah,
more
like
in the exaggerated senses. We talk money, but not.
Yeah, it's not really used as a trope the same way like smoking weed is, or you know, being nicer than whoever the fuck. So I was always pushing against that because I was like, yeah, but most of the rap I like just in my life, dudes talk about money. You know what I mean? Like in a real way, whether they're bragging about, wild jewelry shit or talking about the deals they did. So I was like, yo, like I think about money all the time. You know what I mean? Like I think about making it, what I'm going to do with it, where it's going to go, who I owe it to. So I was like, if I'm thinking about money a lot, then it's weird if I don't put it in my bars because I'm an indie rapper. Like that's strange to me. So I was like, that's not being really honest. And, a lot of discussions we have now about money is, where is going to go next? Like what is it going to feed into to take care of the next thing, and for our families, for music, for merch and all that shit. So I think that's like the main thing. That's a common theme, even though you're right. It's not like I'm at the Bellagio, you know what I mean? Like drinks are free, the cigarette girls walking by, it's not like that type of shit. But the art from PQ, like the original art is on one of the test press variants where it's like a hand with a leather glove holding a cigarette on the wheel. Like that was an image I had for years and years and years. I just saved somewhere and I gave it to PQ. I was like, yo, just start with this. And then PQ was the one that was like, I think listening to this record, he was like, I think it should be like the color palette of like the old Vegas, like the golden nugget. You know what I mean? The sands. He's like the kind of
the Meyer
brownish
Lansky Vegas.
Yeah, he was like the muted like reds, like not like the clean Vegas or like the glitzy Vegas people think of, like the kind of gray like cigarette smoke dust Vegas.
Okay.
So that was PQ's decision because he was like, that's the vibe I get from this album. I don't get like some shimmering glossy shit with like the Sam Rothstein like bright magenta or maroon coat, you know what I mean, with the cigar and the ascot. He was like, nah, it ain't that. So that was PQ really. Like he really aesthetically hooked it up with that color palette. Because I at first I was like, the pictures I was sending him was more of the typical Vegas color strip.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Neon.
Yeah. But he honed in on this one, and I was like, once I saw everything, I'm like, yeah, he kind of made it more. I think it makes it more grounded to see those colors. You know what I mean? Rather than like, because many people have done, Vegas and gambling themed artwork.
Yes.
In all genres. It's always like bright green, bright red with, you know what I mean? Like his shit is
like 80s mod, like
yeah,
like beanbag chairs and things like that. But those type of colors, like the oranges,
like the 80s like cocaine decor, like those Instagram accounts and shit. Like it's more like that. But he went the other way with it. Shouts to PQ.
Dope. Alaska, you got any particular bars you want to ask the kid about?
I don't have any other than like I really want to know about that Instagram one.
Oh, why do my exes follow my exes on Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I just remember that. I remember thinking some of my friends follow some of my exes on Instagram.
Okay.
And I remember that because shouts to Jeff Weiss, he said some shit to me about one of my exes. And I was like, how the fuck?
Jeff Weiss.
Yeah, and I was like, how the fuck do you know that? And he was like, oh, I still follow her. I'm like, bro, we broke up like in 2011 or 12.
Yeah, but and that effect, like that type of housekeeping, that's your responsibility. Like, I don't remember I followed this person or not.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like it was just a funny idea. And then I remember thinking like, oh, I know this one ex of mine was cool, or like they're not following, like they're like checking in, on the low, like seeing what's happening in the world with this other person, or like keeping tabs on you quietly and doing whatever. So I just thought it was like a funny thing to throw in there because again, it was just like popped in my mind.
I think it's a great line. And then I want to know a little bit more about like 10 Deep with Six Packs, because I feel like
there's more to that
was
story.
Like a story of, well, no, I just feel like it's like a story of like my youth as well. Like I know that story.
Yeah, that was basically a typical evening, a typical Friday or Saturday night when I was 17 to 20 years old. Like that was all of those weekends in one day, in one song. You know what I mean? So it was like some shit that happened to me when I was 17, shit that happened when I was 20, shit that happened when I was 19. Like it was all of that. And it was
so for people who haven't heard the record, tell them sort of what the song's about.
So it's really about just being like carefree and wild and just being outside, like just getting with girls, and then the next week you're planning on getting with a girl, and then all of a sudden she's getting with some other dude and you're wild salty about it, but you can't look like you care, but you're a little hurt. And then you like you're going to strip clubs, and then you're killing time before you go to strip clubs. You're at a park, like drinking on a bench, or after the strip club closed and you don't feel like going home, so you go back to the park and drink on the bench. Then you may go to a diner and get breakfast at 5 in the morning.
Megan grabbed me on the park bench, we had to make out. She walked away with my Texas Rangers hat. I got it back, it smelled like a cigarette pack. I didn't notice, she chewed winter fresh back to back. I had a knack for bad girls, I was attached. Maybe put her in the 2-seat recline back, but she cut me off and that was that. My man's chick was stabbed right in front of his crib. The long knife, Mr. Heart by an inch. He tried to be a good guy, he dipped. He couldn't see her walk around forever with a permanent limp. I stood in mad circles, but I rarely ever spent, cause thug rapper, mafioso rap was the lick. 3 a.m. leave all the clubs where they strip, to sit on the park benches, 40 we would sip. Maybe pull a folding chair from the freaking trunk, and then sit back, 10 deep with 6 packs. Anymore, that shit ain't happen. I'm a rapping ass dad, rapping this while my son's napping. Let's take a long walk around the park after dark. Let's take a long walk.
Yeah.
And then, but back then, like, pre-internet, pre-cell phones, like you just hear of stories. So like the line I say where I was like, my man's chick was stabbed right in front of his crib. The long knife, Mr. Heart by an inch. He tried to be a good guy, but he dipped. You couldn't see her walking forever with a permanent. That happened. So, dude, I grew up with. I actually actively didn't like most of my life, but I remember hearing that story and I was like, "Oh shit, that is crazy." And then I remember when I heard he broke up with her, I'm like, "Well, he's been a fucking asshole since we were 6 years old. Like, of course he did that to her." And I would see that girl still walking around a certain neighborhood when I would deliver pizza, because she lived in a certain, like, a rich Italian mafia neighborhood. So every time I would see her, I'm like, "That's the girl that got stabbed, that such and such broke up with after she got stabbed for him, because some other girl was having beef," and it was crazy. So it was like shit like that. Just like these beats, it's weird. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know about you guys when you're writing some shit. Like sometimes you set out to have like, here's the concept, here's the hook, here's where I'm gonna go with this. And other times the beat comes on and you just start going places you haven't thought about in 18 years. Or people, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, where the fuck is this coming from? And you just like, I'm just gonna go with it. You know what I mean? And then once I finished it, that's when I was like, flipping the hook, you know what I mean? Like about the park. Because for me,
Yeah.
like the park was like the genesis of all this shit. You know what I mean?
That's the Jill Scott Philly
Right.
shit.
Exactly. So like flipping it, and I was like, same thing with that. It was like, yo, that's 20 years old now. Like that's fair game for us to use.
Mhm.
Like that song's old now. We could use whatever we want.
Yeah, it definitely, like, I listen to that song and I think about, like growing up and being in high school and like getting a six pack and hanging out with a girl in the park.
Yeah.
And then like, it seems like something's gonna happen. Then like 2 weeks later, you're both dating different people.
Right.
Yep.
Type shit,
You just
yeah.
go home. Yep.
But like
Yeah,
the line about
magical-
pulling lawn chairs out of the trunk
Yep.
and sitting like in the the middle of a park drinking. I was like, wow.
Yeah. 10 deep with 6 packs. Like that was
Yeah.
you pull out the folded chair, like just in a parking lot doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like just for no fucking reason. Just
Yeah.
sitting there. It's like, oh, it's nice out. Let's just pull out some chairs on asphalt and drink beer.
And drink beer, yeah.
Yeah. But the whole song started because I was driving through the city, and there's a spot called the Basilica. That's where I graduated high school. And it's like a big area called the Parkway. It's where Castro shot the video for what did you with the Blockhead joint, Castro? What was that? Mortimer Plano?
Mortimer Plano.
Yeah, right across the street where Castro shot
Okay.
that video. It's a basilica. It's a big, huge, like ancient Catholic church. And I remember driving by it, and I just remember saying to myself, like, basilica, like that's such an ill word. And then I was like, we used to pray at the basilica. Then I was just like, then I went home and played some Daz Dillinger. I was like, that goes together. And then the song,
Yeah.
just, like, just seeing it and saying it. I was like, that's funny. Basilica, Daz Dillinger.
Barry, did you have any particular bars that stood out once all was said and done? If you can't recall them, that's all good. But if anything,
I love your verse on Merv Griffin Enterprises.
thank you. Appreciate that.
I love how it comes in.
There's a lot going on there. Actually, I think I took the beginning of that from some Wu-Tang shit.
You did. Yeah,
Show
enough,
enough
hit
in
the
the
bank.
bank and thrust.
I
Trust.
made it.
Yep.
Yep.
And Rep
love the way
Nautilus, Jamie Summers moving through the corridors.
Yep.
That was
Jamie
Summers.
awesome.
Zilla wanted the stems for that song. He was like, yeah, we need to like figure out a way to extend it. And I was like, no, just like have it restart every time another rapper goes.
Oh, the loop.
Oh,
that's
nice.
And that's why it's always like, all right, and it ends.
Oh, right. And
then-
it succeeds and then it
Alaska
starts again.
goes,
Right.
And then
Nice.
you kill it at the end. Oh man, that was awesome. And Kenny was always like, yo, I love Castro. Castro's vocals are perfect.
Nah, Wave
Loves the
envy.
way you put them together.
Wave God. I'm a wave God.
Wave God.
That's
Wave God.
The verse might be mad, but the wave on the good. All right, dope.
Yo,
dope.
wait, Alaska, when you did the the fucking Jeff Hornacek.
Yes.
I look like it out
Great
of
line.
shape.
Dude, Jeff Hornacek.
But you know what I love about your verse?
I did that for the Bill Havachuk line. Like that had to
I
set
did
up the
that.
Bill Havachuk
Yes,
line.
I caught that.
But
Yeah.
Alaska he disses himself at the end of his verse by how he starts his own verse. Y'all want to catch that?
Yeah.
He's trying
Oh,
to make it where
but
they
I
like
didn't
cats
mean
to
it that
say,
way.
Darko
hey,
caught
yo.
that too.
But it don't matter. You start
Yeah.
the verse, hey yo, with a big one. It's not like
Yeah.
one that just kind of the back, hey yo, da 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 da. Not, it's not a timing one. It's like an actual major ad lib. And then at the
Yeah.
end you say, fucking shit up like when you say, hey yo.
Yeah.
But I know why you did that. But
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, I know
know
why you did that.
What else stands out to
Kansas
me
City
is
Shuffle.
Yiddish Pimps because that was like a real sesh. And I hadn't had like a real sesh. And I've always dreamed of like having a real sesh where you're in the studio and everyone's there to do it. We're not fucking sending emails.
Mm-hmm.
I can't deal with it. It's not real. I've done the real thing. I know how it feels. And I don't like the email thing. So we're in the studio and I'm looking forward to it. I got my blunts rolled. I got my computer ready to go. And I walk in and they already did it.
Yeah, we did.
They already did Yiddish Pimps and I missed it. And
You ruined
and
his
they-
moment.
And then they played. No, it was perfect. They played it for me, and I was like, "Yeah, that's great."
Yiddish pimps, hey. Deacon was a pimp, I could tell by his ice, hey, hey. Categorically deny, see I wasn't present, your honor. I was busy getting high, do my thinking on the fly. Clinking both rocks, do my drinking with the rye. Fresh out the nest, man, thinking I can fly. Confidence abound, no hubris stripped down with the blinking of an eye. Parts stripped down, hope this nigga still drive. It's easy visualize, let it sink into your mind. Yo, Deacon was a pimp, I could tell by his eyes. Deacon was a pimp, I could tell by his eyes. Put his hands in the holy water, probably gonna fry. Put his hands in the plate, man, we all gonna die. Yo, property tax breaks, church is the own here. Catch me out in Brooklyn with the homies wearing low gear. In the spot,
we
man,
didn't
your
finish
eyes
the
look
whole song.
precious, rolling them
Nah, it was done.
It was mostly done, and then
It
you
was
came
done.
in, and then you were like, we were like towards the end, because I remember
Right.
I ran the one part by you. You were like, "Yo, go higher with that shit."
Yeah.
When me, him, and Prem record, he gives Prem 0 notes, and he gives me 80 notes. And then
Yeah.
Alaska came through the last time. He gives Alaska 0 notes, and he says to me, "Do 17
Wait,
more
that's not
takes."
true. That's not true.
Yes, it is.
That's not
Yes, it
true.
is. Alaska got 0 notes from Disco Vietnam in a quarter. The
No,
last time we
I
did the
don't call
session
them
of it.
notes. It's just we're constructing something. And
know.
I'm like,
No,
all
but
right, so
that's-
you
but
go
You
this.
give
register.
Alaska
the
and
term.
Prem
It's notes.
0 constructions. That's my
Look,
point.
see, shut up.
Because
Zilla.
we're
Well,
professionals, man.
Well, they
Pros.
fucking nail it.
No,
Yeah,
Prem
look at
Prem
that.
doesn't get. I'll know that. I record a lot with Prem. Prem gets no notes.
No notes.
No.
He just.
I'm
nails
the
it
one
every
that
time.
tells Prem, no, fuck all that. I'll tell Prem to do it again. Fuck that shit. But I'm like the only one good. I'm like, do another one. Because
Mm.
Prem will do it
I watched the
himself.
notes through all the other verses. I was like, all right, I know what I got to do.
You
There-
piece of
there it
shit. Yeah,
is.
you did go
Yeah.
last on the
The moon, the moon.
Yeah, that song. Was
No,
crazy,
that's
yeah.
that LL. Smooth operator at the end of everything. Smooth
Yes.
operator at the end of the
Yo, you
session.
know
Everybody's
what Prem's
left.
good at? Prem is
on.
good at like when you just turn the beat on and he's got to kill 4 bars and he just says shit. He's so good at that shit. Like he'll just.
I don't know what you're talking
he'll be-
about. Every
he'll be
song I
mad
got
cool.
with my partner,
That's
he
why I
got
love
80,
Bourbon
He
Generals.
got 30 bars.
Yes.
I don't know. There's not one song with me and Prem where he got 4 bars.
No, I'm
That's great.
saying, yeah, like, but Yiddish Pimps was like, it was the only time he and I have ever done a song where he goes first because he's never the first guy.
Mhm.
And even on the Wrecking Crew album, he doesn't go first so far.
No, he's not a first guy.
He's not a first guy. But
Not
that's
a
just
first
like his
guy.
writing and his pace. So what for him to close
He doesn't set it
Vetiver,
off like that.
yeah, for him to close
He can,
Vetiver,
but he just
Right, of course. Of
right.
course.
So having him close Vetiver, where I told him to go Ghostface with it on Cam A, I'm like, yo, just go long, just take.
he
over this whole
loves
record.
that assignment.
Yeah,
Prem loves when you tell him, hey man, you don't have to count your, but he's like, oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
just go long. And
Trust
then-
me, Shrapnel is very familiar with the bar discrepancies
Yeah, so then,
on the first record.
but then having him open when I think I said let's put Yiddish Pimps on, and then you were first were kind of hesitant, but then you were like, yeah, this is great. And then I asked Prem if it was cool, and he said, of course. And only then did I realize like he closes and then opens. But I just like the difference in vibe between Vetiver and Yiddish Pimps. I was like, oh, Small Pro into a Disco Vietnam beat, I think is fucking perfect. And so hearing him, be like this, talking about like Elvis Costello raincoats and all this shit, and then all of a sudden him being like, Deacon was a pip, I could tell by his eyes. Hey, like he's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
he's cool. Exactly. Like him being the bravado troubadour, and then him being like a rapping ass dude within like 10 seconds is the coolest shit to me.
I'm trying to get him to sing. That's like my assignment. I want to make Prem Rock into a crooner
Yeah.
in a rap milieu, which I like.
That would be fucking cool.
He's
Prem
got
is.
it.
He could do it.
He's got
You
the
know what
baritone.
Yeah.
He does. He could do it. Nice.
All right, before we close
Crash
out
test
on
dummies.
on this wonderful sesh, I like how Barry says sesh. Can y'all speak to the brevity of the record? The Illmatic-ish nature,
Nah,
J.
this ain't
Cole-ish.
Illmatic's
I'm
an
just- no.
EP.
We're not doing that. And trust, because unless you want me to raise my damn voice, we're not doing that. Just the nature of the 10 pop, like
11. It's 11 joints.
11.
I know,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. Like that's the essence is the 10 pop. It's like a dozen eggs, like standard.
It's
11.
not 10 and it's not a dozen. It's 11. What the fuck are you
Lord have
talking about?
mercy. What the fuck? Do you hear what
Are
I'm
you
saying?
suggesting that Vegas Vic is an E EP?
I'm suggesting that y'all are getting on my damn nerves, and you know what the fuck I mean. The album is in the vein of a 10 to 13 track album, which is
Okay, there
in the
you go.
vein
All
of
right.
a dozen
Now you're
eggs, which is
saying
in
it.
the vein of a baker's dozen, which is in the vein of Illmatic with 10 tracks, which is in the vein of some J. Cole stupid ass albums with 10 tracks, which is in the vein of some stupid ass West Side. Well, some
Yeah,
West
but,
Side
like-
Gun projects that are 9 tracks.
Yeah,
Just
but like
speak to the
Illmatic
brevity.
has 9 tracks.
Didn't I tell him not to? I know I told him not to.
And half
Because I
time is
tell
like a
Alaska,
2-year-old record.
I tell Alaska not to, and he doesn't listen. So Barry, you need to understand, Alaska has the lion bites to prove. Stop fucking playing with me with this Nas shit. Now.
Who's Nas?
then he does this. See, stop. Ah!
Yo, that new album sucks. Is all I'm gonna say.
It's fucking cool.
It's
man.
terrible.
Oh my God, it does not. Hey, yo.
It's just too dry.
No, it's
Speak
not
to the
wet.
11
Invasion.
tracks.
Invasion.
Not too many.
Invasion.
Not too,
Invasion.
you know,
Yeah.
the
11
Bears
songs?
porridge. Yes. Was that deliberate? Was that some editing? How did that go?
Well,
yeah,
I cut tracks from it.
yeah.
It
could
was
have been
longer.
13. It could have been
Could've
13.
So you're saying it was an LP, now it's an EP?
Right.
Oh
We
my
were like, it's a Dat Piff EP.
It's more like compact. I like things that are compact.
It's a maxi single.
Alaska, I swear, man. I'm coming to New York
It's a-
tomorrow.
It's a laser
And
disc.
if I
It's
find
a
my way to where you're at,
Japanese
up in the
import.
sticks, I'm fine. Okay.
Okay.
I'll be there for a few
Come through.
hours.
Japanese import.
We'll cook out.
Yeah, we will.
Well, you know what? I
Live
really
at the
liked,
barbecue.
back to the
Overrated.
girl again. We're getting your fucking face beat in. Back to the girl again.
The girl again.
I think
It's so cheesy.
actually I really liked a couple years ago. What was that Fonte album he did? No
Not
News is
say
Good
no
News?
more. No, yes.
And I liked how he phrased it when he was like, it's an album made for adults who have other shit to do.
Is that the one
And I
with
was-
good jeans on it?
Yeah. And that's the
Yeah.
one where the video where like it's like a one-shot video at the very
Yeah,
end.
that's
he jumps in the
he's
pool.
wearing he's wearing
Which is ill.
the robe
Oh,
and
yeah.
all that stuff, and he talks through it.
Like
Yeah,
he's in
that
the
is dope.
hallway. Yeah, good
Yeah.
jeans, expensive jeans. That's on that shit.
Expensive
Yes.
jeans, yeah.
And I think that's like 10 songs, something like that. It's 10
Mhm.
songs. And that
Yeah.
was his whole thing was like, yo, we're parents, we're adults, we got other shit to do. I don't have time to sit here and go through your 2 albums, your 76 tracks, where you're trying to figure yourself out. Fuck all that. This is I got 28 minutes. I got 31 minutes.
And
What do
I'm
you
glad
got?
you explained it that way.
That's pretty
aside
much
from
it.
the Nas bashing we just did, but no, the point is I was asking because you, as an artist, as you get older, you do. It's a hard plateau to stand on to
Right.
make an album that short. You just don't. You feel uneasy because it's just the law of averages. If people don't like 3 songs, you only got 8 left.
I never
So,
even thought about it like that.
That's how I think about it. So it's like
Yeah, I never thought of that.
when you're sitting there, life or death with each song. When it's short as albums, it could tilt in against you quicker. You know what I'm saying? There's 4 or 5.
Yeah.
There's four bad songs on an 11-song album.
But then
It's not-
also
So that's
you have
why we
16
put $5 guard first.
Behind.
Correct.
But at the same time, what I'm saying is it takes you a while to get there. When you start, you're doing 20-something records or you're listening to albums with 20-something on it if you're
Right.
not into practice. Then you settle into like the 16, 17 with skits and all of that stuff. But I feel like sometimes it's a bravery to cutting out the fat and leaving the strongest 10, 11,
Yeah.
12, 13 and letting that live. So
'Cause
I
we-
salute
we-
y'all to that.
I think thank you. I think all of us have experienced as being dedicated rap maniacs forever is most rap albums in history up until the most recent past were too long and didn't age with 17 joints because maybe you only needed those core 8 records or even the
Right.
core 6 records. And everything else is kind of like, okay, it was cool at the time because I was only going to get this person's
The
music
age
for
of the
4
skip
years,
around.
3 years.
Right. The age of the skip around.
Yeah.
That's
Whereas
how I
now
met
it's-
you, Zilla.
What? Doing what?
You were writing those articles for Jeff.
I feel like we knew each other before that, bro.
I
It's like
don't know,
way
man.
before that. Way before
Maybe
that.
6 degrees of sep, but he's saying
I
like
love,
when
I
you
love
really
when
got
you don't
into it.
remember how you met someone.
I
And then
think it's
you
way
tell the
before
other
that.
person. Then you tell the other person when they remember better than you.
Yeah, I think it was way before I was doing that. But yeah, I just think it's I don't have time to fuck around, and I don't have anything like that interesting or important to say. I
To
need
stretch it out that long.
69 minutes of your time. I just
Right.
maybe I will. I just not currently. I don't have time for that. Like even me and Ray, doing an EP, we extended it to an album on the CD, but like even that is 10 songs. You know what I mean? Fuck it.
And shoot, it's also the nature of the business. 44 minutes and under to get it on one plate of vinyl.
True.
Shoot for that,
Exactly.
ladies and gentlemen. Don't be playing around with the 2 plates, 60-minute
Nah.
albums and all that. Like make that the digital. Chop the
Yeah.
hell out of that thing for the vinyl.
Yeah, like 11
Because-
songs, 31 minutes for us. I mean, that's solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it exists.
Like Van Moose is not even 2 minutes. That's my dream. to not make.
You know me, man. I'm allergic to the 3 verses.
Nah, fuck that.
Gives me. I wake up in the middle of the night. Oh, 3 verses. Oh,
Who did that? Who made that a thing? Like that it was you had to do 3.
KRS-One.
I think it was just the industry forever.
Yeah.
It was, but it was like,
You know,
I guess it was because there were
most
groups
pop
with
songs
3
have
dudes.
3 verses too.
right. But an R&B song with the number of words they use translating to a rap song, now we're into the 4 and 5 minute joints. But I always thought it's like KRS-One because I say that, much love to Chris, but he didn't have a lot to say. So after the second verse, he was kind of done. So the fact that he would manufacture another third verse, that would stand out for me. LL Cool J, same difference.
Right.
Like pretty long verses. Even if I remember Cool J songs, even if it was one verse, it was pretty long. But I think that was the norm back then.
No, 100%. Yeah. Everyone did that.
So
I just remember the feeling of like being gassed, starting
performing
and
song.
finish.
Yeah.
No, like just writing the third.
Oh
verse.
God, yeah.
I was always like this, and I remember someone told me like, "Yo, use the first verse as the third verse because you had more energy. You're stronger at the beginning. You're more excited when you write the first verse.
Okay.
So put that as the third verse." And then the third verse needs to like be a placeholder or just be competent to get to the second and third.
I have a different philosophy.
Go on.
One time I was working with Prophet. This is way back in the day, and we were on our way to the studio, and he had his 3 verses. And as we're driving to the studio, he spits the whole thing for me, and the third verse was the best. So I was like, make that your first verse and write 2 more verses. And he did.
So got rid of the other 2
5
verses.
verses.
That sounds like Shells.
Yes, it does sound like Shells. She would have done that.
Right, 5 verses, and then your 3 verses are very strong. But the thing is, people just want to, like you're saying, they get gassed.
Yes.
Well, there's a hip hop upbringing to it because I can rewrite verses and stuff. All right, so I came up in groups, so I was responsible for 1 verse and 1 verse only on most songs, and maybe a half of a piece of a hook. So when I went solo, which I did not want to do, it was not in my plans.
Me neither.
I was like, oh my God, like I would write 1 verse. I was like, I gotta write 2. Nah, I remember being early. You can even that. So I was really early in the 1 long verse or 2 verses, and I'm out of there because I was not interested. I had a philosophy that if my skill level was lacking if I couldn't get my thought across in those 2 verses. Like, what am I doing if not being redundant or I haven't reached what I needed to reach and I need another verse, then something's lacking on the first 2 verses. For me, that's how I used to think about it.
Right.
And then, it was just certain artists were doing it. Doom, Mark Marcy, what I'm saying? And then like I said, I was in a group, so I like De La. They never had 2 verses on songs. They had 1, and then he had 1, and maybe they had 2 halves, and that was it.
They would split it up like 2 and 2, 4.
There would be some songs it'd be like 2 and 1, but like if one of them had 2 verses on it, the other one didn't even have another full verse. That was like almost standard. Yeah. Right. So it was just like it was more economic. I felt, and then also I just can't write like that. I write very strict 16s, and like now we're into the 70 something bar portion of the song. Like that's a little too much for me. So and then also I'll get off my own stein, but I feel the value of hooks. I don't think I'm the best at hooks, but if I come up with a good hook, I want to get back to that as quickly as possible. So I'd rather have more hooks than verses on songs, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's
the thing with my story with Prophet though is it wasn't that the third verse was the best verse or better than the other 2. It was that the third verse like revealed what the song was about. The first thing he said was "nice weather," and I was like, "That's the song."
Love it. That's a fire song.
Nice weather, that's the type that I like better. See a hot thing that I like, that I might get her. Do slap bots in the sea who could fight better. This is fresh white weather, dress light weather. Block barbecue, do spinning on the wheels. Shorties everywhere, chicken on the grill. This is ill, the way that every summer should feel. 20-inch chrome on the pink colored DeVille. Dude still posting, block still hot.
I remember hearing that
That's why I
beat.
can
I'm
still
like,
listen to it because it's like the song has a story to it and it's visual, has imagery. It wasn't until the third verse that something was revealed about the song, and he's like, okay. And then the fourth and fifth verses were easy.
Yeah, because he created like the roadmap for the record.
Right, because you say, oh, okay, there's a song here, not just like something we've stitched together.
Yeah, that shit is that.
No.
Dude, it's like when we do these pods, bro. We'll talk about some shit, and then minute 94, someone on the show says something. We're like, oh, that sums up
It's
Graham
profound.
Bubba's whole career. That sums up Woodstock 99. Oh, that one thing. There it was. It took us an hour and 15 minutes to get there. That's the point of the whole fucking topic.
Like it's just a compromise with myself. Like I got a lot of songs to get through on these albums.
Right, for sure.
Let me just make it a little easier on myself. I got a lot to memorize.
I'm lazy, bro. I'm lazy.
I got a
That's
lot to. The memorization is
myself.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm just like I don't want to hear myself.
And it's the memorization, y'all. When I got into my late 30s, this memorization thing has been a hurdle. Like, oh my god, I gotta know these fucking songs for these shows and shit. Let me get in and out of here.
Does anyone know a story about Busta Rhymes and ODB? About how like Busta Rhymes was like afraid to do his solo album because he didn't know how to make one, and it's like a lot of writing, and so like he drew inspiration from Old Dirty Bastard, Return of the 36 Chambers, and like talked to him about it, like how to make an album and how to do it in such a way that's like you're not writing constantly.
Right.
Well, there's got to be some holes in that story because Old Dirty doesn't remember making that record.
And he also, Brooklyn.
He's on the remix of
Woo-Ha.
Yeah, of course. But I'm just saying, like, if you would have
architects get the paper, then cash and check.
Osiris down and asked them, like, studio time and scheduling, I don't think you could get into those details. But there is something and that's a vibe record, like he went in there to to handle it. And there's a lot of help. So speaking of the 2 or 3 verses, you do one verse and you got 2 other mans to come in and back clean up. There's a lot of that going on Return of 36, which helps. But that was also a Wu standard, so it didn't seem out of place. But anyway, we're we're off the beaten path. We just wanted to say this is a great record, gentlemen.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Very good work, and in the amount of time.
Shouts to Kenny.
I know a lot more behind the scenes stuff when it comes to that, so I'm really meaning this is very good work from the rooter to the tutor. When y'all started to when y'all finished it, I knew all the iterations of the record, and I like where it landed and where it ended up.
Yeah, and shouts to the Real Late record, man. Shouts to the Rosenberg shit because
that's awesome.
When we pulled up and we traded a cheesesteak for a microphone, this dude's like, "Oh, you want to hear Rock Marcy on my shit?" I was like, "Sure." He played me that, and I was like, "Okay, my man's big time. You're big time." You know what I mean? I was like, "Oh, this motherfucker's gonna be big time," and he's like, "Oh, Kenny's gonna be mixing this album." And I was like, when he talked me into hiring Kenny was indeed doing the Rosenberg record. And then I heard a couple other joints, and then there was like some potential crossovers and all that. But when that record hit a couple weeks before mine, whatever, I was like, yo, this shit is crazy. Like just watching people's reaction to it.
Yeah.
And I was just happy for these dudes. I was like, cause getting to know Kenny, like me and Barry have been friends for over 10 years, but I didn't know Kenny at all. And, just, corresponding with him a lot and seeing how professional he was, how cool he was. So seeing them hit with this Rosenberg shit, which is just a dope ass underground record, I was cheerleading these dudes. I was like, this is the coolest shit I've seen. You know what I mean? Like the same thing would happen with Castro when, on the Haram record and Alchemist is shouting this motherfucker out. It's just like, I love that, man. Like I love watching all of us hit these places that, last year, like who the fuck know that was going to happen? You know what I mean? Like
right.
August 2020, the world's over. And it's like, oh, Castro, you're going to be working with Alchemist. Barry, you're going to work with all your fucking heroes. How you like that? You know what I mean? Like I'm going to get my first like solo vinyl, which I've never had, just me. This shit is crazy. You know what I mean? So it's fun, man. And again, it's just, we're doing what we like and we all trust each other. We don't fuck around. And the people like it. I mean, that's it. Shouts to everybody who's listening, copping the records. Rock him shouting out Barry on fucking Instagram. That was crazy for second generation Woo.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's fucking dope.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's insane.
The most nuts thing is I had Cuban food with Styles P.
Cuban food with Styles P. Homeboy.
That's an album title.
And Fleet.
Alaska, you have
we talked about how Star Wars was saved in the edit together. We just talked about John Milius and Francis Ford Coppola and just eating Cuban sandwiches.
Dude, Styles P?
Yeah, me and Styles P.
He's amazing. That's incredible. We could say
Alaska, you have any final thoughts on the
I'm
Vegas
really
Vic?
proud of you guys for putting together an amazing record.
Thanks, dude.
Thanks, Alaska.
That means a lot, man. Glad you guys to be on the piece. I really wanted I love how Merv Griffin came together too, because I was like, I want to call out Culture song. You know what I mean? Like just you guys only, and you guys came through. On to me, like just the hottest like rap beat on the album. Just to spaz the fuck
It's
out.
a fun beat to rhyme on.
Yeah. Like everyone I know who is a serious rapper who's heard the album, they all say they're like, yo, that fucking beat is bonkers. Yes, right away, like immediately. So
and it's also great to hear Scorsese.
Yeah, man.
Like when I was listening to the record, I was like, like I kind of teared up a little bit when I was listening to it.
Great verse with his. Yeah.
Yo, I still might have the other takes from him, either like on the voice note texts or the emails.
Yeah,
but that was he wrote and recorded 4 different verses for me that day.
No standard for him.
And he kept saying, and I kept being like, all right, I like this one thing. I was hitting him like Barry. I was like, all right, I like this. I want you kind of deliver it like this. I'm thinking about this when I hear your voice on this beat. Like I made that beat in like 2007. You know what I mean? I found it going through my hard drive, and I was like, yo, would you fuck with this? Because I had Castro on it first. And then when I sent it to him, I remember saying to Castro, I was like, originally it was just going to be like an interlude. It was going to be like Stay True. It was going to be one verse and then Castro do a hook. Then I remember saying to Castro, I was like, I think Shell's like really needs to be on this. Like he needs to be on this album, and I think he needs to set this song. Like it can't just be a 90-second song with me and you.
Mm-hmm.
We got a bunch of million songs together. It should be me, you, and Shells, but like him kicking the fucking door open on this record. And you were like, yeah, of course. And then once I sent it to him, again, like 4 different writtens, and then that's the one that made the album. So, you know, he loved it. He heard it obviously before he passed, and like again, it's an honor to have him on my beat forever.
Tired, but I ain't sleepy. Holding pain like a DVR in the TV. Wanna laugh at Martin? Play genius, get Gene it. Stocky bitch. Magazine called Queen Latifah. Yeah, it's living single. That's the final scene by Tarantino. The tech monologue for niggas. You common law married with death. You a boss when you let him live or steal his breath. Smother dreams with a flick of my wrist. Picture this. Ever since I chased dollars, been missing cents. On the run, obeying hoes. Just a Pyrex, triple beam, and a working stove. I walk alone, I'm Batista post-evolution. Causing heart attacks, the excellence in execution. So eloquent, my words got pigeons cooing. A sporty thief, jeans cost 7 each. Diamond piece size of elephant teeth. You niggas cheat, looking broken, disgusted. Provoke me, have a meeting with the musket. Drive by, revealing the suspect, that's a sucker move. I got more to lose. Plus I like shooting.
So shouts to him and his family.
Or along with Scorsese.
Yeah, man.
Yes, always. All right. Let's close the shindig down.
Yeah.
Barry, thank you for blessing us with your presence. Thank you for the contributions to this record and leading my man, because he's very much astray. So he has to be led from being astray. So thank you for leading him away from astray, and for y'all to combine it to hit this victory lap. What's up?
You know, real quick, it's
Appreciate
funny you
that,
said
fam.
that about Barry, and I'm glad Barry came on the show. My wife got a tarot card reading tonight, and you know, she was asking her all about her life and her career and all these things going on. And the lady said about me, she said, your husband has a problem because he does not like when people tell him what to do, but he also reacts the best when people tell him what to do. And I was like, fuck, you're right. I was like, and then I took her tarot cards and made it my next album cover, and it's going to be called the Wallowing Night, meandering with the cocaine weaponry, and it's going to be 4 songs.
That's an EP.
And one of the tracks,
no
is a
drums.
Flip track.
It's an album because I want to sell a 12-inch, so I'm going to say it's a 4-song album, with a tarot card cover. There you go.
I will not be supporting. How about that?
Anyway, shouts to Barry for telling me what to do.
Thanks for listening.
Hey, no
we have some recent announcements to make before we sign off. Alaska, you first.
You sound like Fraser Crate. You sound like Fraser Crate.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
It's the mic, man.
You got a lot of press. Sorry.
Alaska first.
Human Zoo dropping September 3rd. Pre-sale August 20th. Thinking about trying to do something special for the Patreon, maybe like a little listening party or something.
Do that.
Yeah,
People
so there'll be more details for that.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. I spoke with Ray. He's going to start mixing the EP.
I'm gonna fucking kill you if he mixes your shit before my whole album. with
Do
this
it.
fucking guy.
Make
It's
him
been
feel
done since
horrible.
last summer.
Hey, I just
Love
reached
it.
out. I was like, hey, let's catch up on this. You know, we
Yeah,
haven't talked
last-
about it.
I'm
He's like,
Laugh
I'm
at
gonna
his
be on
boy,
vacation. I'll
Zilla.
mix it this week, and I'll get back in touch with you.
Yeah.
You fucking guys,
Yeah, last. Look at
bro. You know how many
Zilla.
times I keep getting lapped by these
Look,
quote
look,
unquote
listen to this guy.
producer
Listen to him.
friends?
Look
quote
at this
unquote.
guy. Alaska.
This
Push
shit
to
is
the end.
bullshit,
Don't
bro.
worry
This
about
shit is
Zilla. He be
bullshit.
all right.
This shit is
Be all right.
bullshit.
He got projects in the stash, last. Don't
Man,
worry
fuck
about
all
him.
that.
I'm not.
Be all right. Because
Yeah,
I'm on that
yeah.
record. That's why I want to come out. I got 2 banging ass verses on that joke.
Yeah, you do.
And on
So-
mine, asshole. You're on my shit too.
Oh!
God damn.
Oh,
You're on track, too.
Peanut Gallery. All right.
Okay, you know, no, why we do this? You do it. You start an album with Ray West this weekend. He'll mix it next weekend. We'll put that one out first. Not mine. It's been sitting
Man,
here.
y'all act like I
fucking
don't have
12
aborted
months.
projects.
Well, mine's an
and stuff.
EP, so it's probably
It's
just
9
easier to
songs.
mix an EP. Yeah,
It's like Illmatic, right? It's 9 songs.
yeah, it's exactly like Illmatic. It's actually I just sent him a disc of Illmatic. I was like, mix this. It's an EP.
First song's called Genesis. Second song's
Yeah.
called New York State of Mind.
Sounds familiar.
I'm introducing this young rapper named AZ. He's gonna set off the third song.
Set it off. All right, we off the rails here. Vegas Vic,
Vegas
Wrecking
Vic.
Crew.
Vinyl available. The digital is $1,000. Don't be a dipshit. Fucking buy the CD or the tape. Whatever you
You're Zilla, you are not good at subliminals. That's
No,
what he
spend
gets.
it. Please spend
not good at it.
$1,000 on the
Yeah.
waves. and
Yo,
the
man, if you
flags.
could do it, man. Oh, definitely you need them flax.
the AI.
Well,
No,
if
that's
you
what
wanna
it's.
get them-
That's
But
what.
if you have
that's what they're
questions
worth.
about it, you should definitely text or tweet Zilla Rocca, even if he's already answered those questions
Listen.
for you.
privately at length.
Yeah.
And
Just
ask
talk
him
to-
what does AAAF file stand for. He'll sing your praises in our thread, in our text thread.
Honestly,
Oh,
though, but
man.
sending someone the lossless file that comes spits directly out of Kenny's computer should be worth $1,000.
I agree. So put your money up. Don't be. an
That's the
asshole.
NFT. That's the actual thing. Like,
Right. The
it's a
actual
wave.
file.
That's what
Yeah.
it is. It's done.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, do some
You know,
You
DoorDash.
should sell it as a
Three.
one of one.
This ain't a
Yeah.
MP3.
We'll do an auction.
So Sotheby's. All right, we out. ladies
Yo,
and
shouts to
gentlemen.
Method Man.
Follow us on Twitter. Follow us. We have a YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram. If you want to join the Patreon battalion that we got growing.
Yeah, our Patreon subscribers had a little discount when Vegas Vic dropped. It was only specific to Patreons. So,
So
exclusive
come in.
deals and
You want
discounts
the
coming
goodie
up.
bags. You want the goodie bags? You got to put your hand in the mail slot. See what happens.
Stop sending me messages on Instagram about my beats. The answer is no.
There we go. And that's the perfect sign off. Thank y'all, Call Out Cultists. Thank you, Barry.
Thank you.
Alaska, Zilla, I'm Curly Castro. We signing off. Go get the Vegas Vic. Like, don't think we talking about it for the whole episode and y'all ain't supposed to buy it.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah,
just trying to
buy
find
this.
a way to stream it. Go buy it. Find out what platform you like and is adaptable to you and buy it. That's it. It's real simple. 1, 2, buckle your fucking shoe, dickheads. All right. Later, y'all. Peace.
Peace.